Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's been a long time coming, but the Eastland Football Netball League is ready to go in season 2021, and we're here from the MCG The East, as it's well known, at the Mitchum football ground in Walker Park for the Mitchum Tigers taking on the Wantirna South Devils in Division 1. I'm Matthew Fodia, and joining me today for this historic return is Wayne Brasher.
Oh, Matty.
And Damien Watson.
Oh, great to be here, Matty. Quintessentially local footy, isn't it, with a bit of rain around? I don't mind the rain around as a result of the wait we've had.
Exactly.
It's just been a fantastic, Matty, to get the team back together again, but also Bruce Press from Loft Productions and Leroy Green from LKM Media. Great to have them back with us as well. It's a big family. BWS will be joining us later on. The band's back together again, ladies and gentlemen, and watch out.
Exactly. It's good to have everyone back. We will, of course, dig into this game later on. But I guess, boys, just quickly off the top of it, obviously, Damo, you've had a bit more footy than the rest of us working down there at SEM. But Brash, Damo, what did you miss the most about the layoff between local football games?
I actually missed the crowd interaction being at the grounds. The crowds play a big part in local football, and also the fact that there are a lot of people that put a lot of time and effort and money into local football, and unfortunately for some they went by the wayside, but not because they didn't do anything wrong, but their involvement in local sport is really, really paramount for us to keep going again, Matt.
Absolutely. And Damo, like I said, mate, you've had a bit more exposure, but...
Well, it is different, though, because obviously a lot of the games last year at the AFL were played in the state and, of course, without crowds. So I think it's just great, as Brash said, to have the crowd back, and obviously creating that amphitheatre-type atmosphere. It's fantastic. It's a community feel to any local football game, and you have your tribes within each team, and I think that is what I miss most.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to agree with you guys. It was a long layoff, and crowds are key, and of course we have seen them return to the AFL, but you do get something different in a local crowd, almost being able to reach out and touch the players and the surface, and of course seeing one another, as Brash alluded to there. We've only got an hour pre-game, of course, so we better not...
Dilly-dally?
Dilly-dally, exactly, mate. We've only got the 3 divisions starting today. There will be a delay with Premier and Division 4 starting next week. Division 1, obviously we've got today's game. We will, as I said, we will get into that in the latter half of this show, but there's 4 other games going on in Division 1 today, Brash, and one I want to talk about is Montrose and Bayswater. The Demons are back down in the second tier after a pretty lengthy stay in the top flight, and they're taking on Bayswater, who, have been there and thereabouts in this division, and what can you expect from this game today?
Well, I look at Bayswater, and Tommy Roach has made the long-term commitment to stay on at Bayswater and see that rebuild or the continuing rebirth of the Bayswater Football Club. I thought they made great strides in 2019. They made it to a final, even though they went out, I think, in the first week of the finals.
Yeah, they did.
Montrose, look, they've come back down, let's be honest. They probably would have liked to have come back down and shown their worth last year, Matt, because I think it's probably, for them, I reckon they might be looking for a season of redemption. I think there's an inner resolve at that football club, and if you listen to the way the information coming out of Montrose is, they're on a mission this year. They want to prove that that they should be long back in the Premier League, and I think that they'll make great strides this year. But what a great test for them first up against a proven finalist in this division first up.
Yeah, it's a good measuring stick, isn't it, Damo? Because despite Bayswater probably not being the favourite for Division 1, they are. Yeah, it's a good measuring stick, because if you beat them handily, you're going to be a good side, and if you lose them, you're probably going to be in the bottom half.
And they've had somewhat similar experiences in a way, obviously trying to force themselves into the Premier Division, as we now know it, sort of volleying in and out, basically, between the top 2 divisions. Yo-yoing's a very good term. But with Montrose, do you think, Brash, that it's a good chance for them to reinvigorate? Because they've been, I wouldn't say languishing, but they've been in the bottom half of that Premier Division for quite a while now, so it's a good chance for them to regain some form of success and really experience, potentially, finals football.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree with that. And I think one big thing too is, and let's just keep a lot of things in perspective too, the reduction of the salary cap, right, is going to play a massive part, right, in local football because it got to a stage, and I'm not afraid to say it, but it was getting out of control at the end of 2019, where some clubs were nearly bankrupting themselves nearly to try and buy a premiership. The leagues and AFL Victoria have been commended, right, in reducing that salary cap, and it gives clubs like Montrose, who weren't able to attract the top level players in Premier Division, but it gives them a chance to reload, right, on an even playing field in a lower division. That's why I think that you can be feeling pretty bullish about them this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think, as you said, Damo, being relegated, and they're having a year where they can rebuild, and whilst they will be looking for success, the fact that there'll be no promotion means that it's a bit of a free hit in terms of they can try some things out.
They've got nothing to lose.
And blood some youth, exactly. And then from Bayswater, they've actually, like you said, they're looking at the long term. They've recruited a lot of guys from Premier Division under-19 clubs, Nord and Vermont and the like, which is a sign that they're looking towards the future. And their midfield strength is still elite. Ben White, Kurt Lopo, Galvin's running through there, so they'll still be there and thereabouts the mark. So
I actually think the other thing too is what's going to become a very common thread right throughout the season, probably in especially in the early rounds, is whoever club or what clubs put the most attention into their juniors over the last 4 to 5 years are going to reap the benefits in this year, I reckon.
Oh, absolutely. And as you mentioned about the salary cap and the way that it's levelled out, a number of coaches that I spoke to in the pre-season said that it's a good thing for local footy that junior programs will become more vital for the sustainability of clubs. A quick tip on this one, guys. I'm personally leaning towards Montrose just because they've been relegated, but I think it will be a very, very good game of football.
Yeah, I went for Montrose as well.
Montrose by less than a goal. Hopefully it's a tight one.
There you go.
I think it'll be a close game.
We've picked the wrong game, don't we? Other games in that division, Mooroolbark are hosting Lurdale. Mooroolbark have recruited a lot of players. Lurdale have lost a lot, so that makes me lean towards Mooroolbark, who I think will finish in the top 5.
I'm expecting big improvement from Mooroolbark this year.
Absolutely, and Damo?
And they want a lot of improvement too, because we've seen them, and they particularly against Lilydale. I mean, they're geographical neighbours, they're arch rivals in many ways. I think it'll be a fiery contest. I'm leaning towards the Mustangs as well.
It's always a very keen derby, that one.
Yes, absolutely, and what a way to start the season for those two clubs. Upper Ferntree Gully host Park Orchards at a very good-looking Kings Park, uncharacteristically green. Upper Gully, like Lurdale, have lost a lot of players, and a change of coach as well, with Luke Tynan taking over. And Park Orchards are a club that I've for a long time said they're going to be a bit of a superpower in the long run. Dennis Armfield's got them purring. They came from 5th to make a prelim final in 2019, Brash, so I'm leaning towards the Sharks.
Well, I believe they picked up a prime recruit.
Yeah, Andreas Everett.
So he's going to add something. We talk about premiership windows. This is Park Orchard's premiership window right here over the next 2 to 3 years. This is where they can snare a flag.
Well, haven't they built ever since they've come into the competition? They have really gone on a high trajectory. I'm backing them as well here. Upper Gully, as you mentioned, I guess there'll be different personnel, so they'll probably take a little while to gel, at least in the early rounds.
They're going to need. The Upper Gully have always prided themselves on their junior program. They're going to need it a lot this year.
Yeah, both sides do have good junior programs, and Upper Gully in it, them and Lurdale in a bit of a transition period. And another very tantalising game in Division 1 today is East Ringwood and Croydon. Croydon are probably the early season favourites after making the grand final last season and adding not a host, but a number of very talented players with Premier Division experience. And East Ringwood, another club. I think they've just slid under the radar. I think they'll be there or thereabouts this year. Ben Osborne, has done a very good job. He's got Dale Walker across from South Croydon. They've also added a couple of ex-Coburg players and alike, and have some talent already. So I think that's going to be a very good game. I see Croydon winning it because I believe they're the premiership favourite, but that's another very, very good game today, Brash.
It is, and I think Ben Osborne's probably on a bit of a free hit too with East Ringwood. East Ringwood over the last few years, they haven't had much luck, but as you mentioned, with the recruits coming back to the club, these are experienced guys that have actually played at the club. The loss of Cleveland and Renton, could be two big ones. But I also think of it as evolution, and it gives other players a chance to shine. But in this particular game, Croydon, one of the things I liked was the fact that Bailey Hodker went back to Vermont and was going to play the 2020 season. I believe he's gone back to Croydon, and I think that is a really good sign for the Croydon Footy Club.
Yeah, I'm going for the Blues as well. Renton in particular is a big loss, isn't he? Because he was such a consistent player last season, obviously back in 2019. So it's just a matter of... And I think they do have the capacity to build with what they have gained, but Croydon for mine, have a greater depth.
Yeah, well, and East Ringwood, speaking of junior programs, it's been one of the best ones in the East for a long time. And just on Croydon, their host of recruits, Tory Class Henry, came across from Lurdale. He's been a regular fixture in the senior side for Lurdale. He's actually named in the reserves today, such is their strength.
Wow.
And I think the thing is too,
for the Blues.
The ex-Lilydale boys, when they go to Croydon and Mirrabah, Matt, they seem to find another leg, don't they?
Well, they will. So we'll see what happens.
It's a bit of a shame for Lilydale, isn't it?
Class Henry was playing finals footy only a few years ago for Lilydale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
like I said, that's a pretty good sign when he's playing reserve grade football.
Exactly. Division 2, or the third tier. Mulgrave and South Belgrave is a game I want to talk about in depth. First of all, we have to say congratulations to Adam Booth of Mulgrave. He's been there for an amazing amount of time. He's breaking the club games record today with his 251st game, breaking a record that I think's been around for over 50 years. So, first of all, congratulations to Adam, and we wish him the best of luck today. But having said that, South Belgrave coming off an undefeated season. They've added Tim Smith from Melbourne. And, they look very, very good for me. It's going to be a big first up test for Mulgrave, who have actually done some good recruiting work themselves, but the Saints look very, very good.
Oh, it is mouth-watering the way they looked in 2019, South Belgrave. They just absolutely dominated a very high percentage, as we know. There is going to be that jump up in class when you jump up a division. That's natural, but they have such a tight unit. It'll be interesting. I guess you could call it the Battle of Wellington Road, Brash. Because South Belgrave's at the end of Wellington Road, but I'm going to go with South Belgrave.
Well, you are drawing a long bow there, or maybe a long stretch of road.
That's all right. I like doing that.
But yes, they are connected by Wellington Road. Look, I'm going the other way.
Oh, okay.
I'm going the other way. The coach they brought into...
Ryan Webster.
Very
good operator.
Very, very smart operator. I watched Ryan played at Vermont. Very, very smart footballer. Got a very good football brain. And I think that he's going to bring a new perspective to the Mulgrave game plan that they haven't had for such a long time. I reckon Gervasoni went back to them.
He did, just much like Bailey Hotka. He went to Doncaster.
That is a massive plus to get your best and fairest back to your club. That speaks volumes. I'm going for them this afternoon.
Fair enough.
They'll do it for Boothie, but I also think I'm expecting Mulgrave to be good movers this year.
Yeah, I also expect Mulgrave to rise up the ladder. As I mentioned, there's not only that inclusion of Gervasoni, but also Thomas McGowan's returned from Foster and brought a couple of mates with him. Matt Homfrey from Beaconsfield is a handy pickup, and like you mentioned about Ryan Webster, not only is he a good footballer, he's
not a bad cricketer either.
He definitely has been involved at Box Hill as a coach, and I think Caulfield for a number of years, where they were very successful, but also was involved at Korea Victoria as the player welfare manager.
Yep.
So he's in touch with people and very good communicator, which is key to modern day coaching, and he has heralded a new style of play, which something Mulgrave probably haven't had in a few years. They're often known for their grit and determination, but now that they've got a bit more talent, they might be able to move it a bit quicker. But yeah, the Saints, for me, I think they're going to make the finals. Other games in that division, Ringwood and Templeton. Ringwood are coming off red hot form. They've played 3 Division 1 sides in the practice games, and they beat them all by over 6 goals. And Templeton have lost a few, Brash, so it's going to be a long day, I think, for the Dockers.
Yeah, look, when I was looking at this division during the week, I was looking to see where Ringwood are going to fit in, and I'm seeing them fit in the top 3 again this season in Division 2. They've got a lot of depth, and I'm expecting them to get the chocolates in the opening round this afternoon.
I'll go with Ringwood, but it's interesting with Templeton State. Didn't they experience a similar sort of situation in 2018 where they had a drastic change in the list, and they started off slow, but then as they managed to gel together, they increased their form and improved their form?
Yeah, Craig DeCourcy's obviously got a great record, and they've been defensively solid. I think they were still one of the 1 or number 2 defence in Division 2 last year, despite not playing finals. So they're obviously a good unit and well coached.
One of the biggest problems with Templeton that I've seen as an outsider looking in and speaking to a couple of people from there is 17 and 18. They were riddled with injury to their best players. They never got them on the park.
Some were just unavailable in general as well. Went overseas.
So I actually don't think Craig DeCourcy has actually been able to put Templeton's best 22 on the park on a consistent basis since he's taken over at the club. Like I said, pre-season form, everyone turns around and says, "Oh, it means nothing. It means nothing." It means something. It means something. It means
confidence-wise.
Yes. But I think Ringwood under Brett Rowe, I think the fire's still burning for them.
Absolutely, and they've added Trent Farmer. He returns. He won't be playing today. He's got a bit of a calf niggle. Curtis Dunn and Tim Jones from North Ringwood. Dunn is also out for an early part of the season, but Tim Jones will add a bit more polish and experience off half-back. So, yeah, Ringwood look very good. But, yeah, I do think Templeton, they'll drop. But like we said, Craig, of course, he's a good coach and he's been around this level for a long time. So he's probably seen this all before. Heathmont in the Basin. Nick Rutley is the new coach of the Jets, and I've had some personal experience with Nick. He's an absolute star, I think. He's going places. And Heathmont are a club that in recent years have been consistent finalists, but they're probably going to take a hit, I think, with the strength of the other sides in Division 2. And the Basin is another club that's improving under Justin Stanton, but unfortunately for them, I think it's just too strong a division.
Well, yeah, look, there's been a lot of talk coming out of the Basin. You know, they've changed their leadership group. They've gone with a much younger leadership group led by Shane Davidson.
Yep.
Right, as a part of that
Trevor
leadership.
Mills is still involved.
Trevor Mills is still involved. Look, there's a lot of optimism at the Basin if you're reading what they're talking about down there. But I'm with you, Matty. I think Heathmont. They've got the runs on the board, but these two traditionally play games that just finish within a kick of each other, and I'm only going for Heathmont because it's home field advantage here.
Are they opening H.E. Parker Reserve at your facility?
So H.E. Park is actually going to be one of the premier venues now.
Will be.
With its new rooms, the new lights, the new surface, and I was speaking to Justin O'Dwyer, their vice president, this week. They want to create an event, so they've got a Friday night game on the 23rd against Ringwood. We encourage all people to get down there. They're going to make it an event, pre-game music, getting team songs going brash, and it's good to see the clubs are trying to create that. We were here at Mitchum today. They've already got the music going in the breaks.
It was funny, I was just talking to Besto just a minute ago, and we're talking about the Never Tear Us Apart that Port Adelaide have adopted. And I turned around and said to him, well, it's bad luck if they wanted to stop it because they've embroiled it into their official team scarf. So they've committed to it now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if you took it away from the people, you know over there it's going to be uproar. But I applaud what every club is doing to try and reinvigorate our community and our local football clubs, because I just love going to local footy. It just it gets right down into my heart and soul walking into a local ground. I had chills when I walked in here this afternoon.
Chills?
Yeah, I did.
That was just the wind.
No, we understand. Yeah.
But because of the excitement of just seeing a crowd and just having local footy back.
Absolutely. So I think we're going to go with Heathmont, but as Brash said, it's going to be very, very close, as will all games in this division this year. It's the new Division 1 for mine. And then finally, Knox and Boronia in this division. Knox dropping down. Brendan Whitecross joins them.
Yes.
They won 6 games in 2019 and still got relegated. And Boronia, on the other hand, premiers in 2018, didn't get to go up due to the restructure. Finished top of the ladder in 2019 out in straight sets. And Matt Clark, he doesn't do well with stuff like that, Brash. So they'll be bouncing back. Taylor Leggett has left Wantirna South to head there. I think I'm going to go with Boronia today, but that's going to be another humdinger.
It will be, and expect the second. I have a couple of close connections. You know, my nephew and his cousin actually play at Boronia, and the emphasis, from what I'm hearing, is the second tier players throughout the pre-season have had a really big input, and they've been and expect the depth of Boronia to really improve this year, because they've got quality to come in if form from players sags
drops away
or injury.
I wouldn't be surprised if Knox were to get up. I was tipping Boronia, but Knox, some of those young players over the last couple of years that they've blooded since that 2017 premiership,
they're still good.
They've had the senior experience. So I wonder if that augurs well for them despite the year off.
But losing Jordan doesn't help either. True. Because of being a goal kicker.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good point. But yeah, I think Division 2 this year is going to be...
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is going to be the hardest division.
It's going to be the hardest division to pick. So anyway, I think we're going to head off to our first break of the day. On the other side of that, we'll look at Division 3 and then we'll dive into a bit of Mitchum and Wantirna South. Yeah, good. Thanks, Pete. On and off, man. I think we're going to get scattered showers.
Pete. Pete. Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Pete, you happy with the levels you're getting? You happy with the levels you're getting? Good.
Yes, welcome back to Walker Park once again for the first round of the EFNL season for 2021. And we're here, as we said, the Tigers and the Devils. That will be coming to you a bit later on from the call team here. But it's Matt Fodia, Wayne Brasher and Damien Watson here working you through the pre-game. And guys, we've done Division 1, we've done Division 2. We've had our say on those teams. Now into Division 3, it's a 9-team competition in 2021 after Eastfield and Fair Park were both promoted, which is... you know, it's been one for discussion on social media, as I'm sure you guys have seen.
Yeah, well, we'll put it this way. The skeleton, I'm not afraid to put me two bobs worth in.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going to just distance myself.
No, well, these words are only my personal thoughts. Look, whilst I think it's good for East Burwood to have been promoted, I'm still not really au fait with the fact that they should have got promoted in the first place. They didn't win the flag, but I understand that there were reasons. And
happened before though, where the runner-up gets promoted.
Like I said, and that's a personal thing, and they obviously put the case forward to the EFNL board for consideration, and the board have gone back and looked at all the permutations and the reasons why they couldn't, and they've decided to let them come up. and at the end of the day, we've got to accept the umpire's decision.
Exactly, Brash, exactly. So, anyway, moving on to that division. Waverley Blues and Donvale. Waverley Blues have absolutely nailed their colours to the mast. They are adamant that they are going to win the premiership this year. They came from fourth to make the grand final in 2019 and actually kicked the first 5.
They were in front halfway through the second quarter.
It was musings of a boil over, but it turned pretty sour from there. Tom Langford has taken over from Bryce McGain. And obviously 2020 they were very keen to play footy. They were, like I said, giving it the big ones. And in 2021 that's continued in multiple publications. He's spoken about, their target is a flag. Do you think, though, not playing in 2020, guys, has taken away from that momentum they built at the back end of 2019? Because winning that extra time final against Warrandyte, then knocking off Ferntree Gully, and then having a fairly good crack at South Belgrave, they would have been building this momentum, Damien, heading into 2020 that may have disappeared.
But at the end of the day, there's an unknown quantity for every team, regardless of their position and how they are going to respond to that year off, aren't they? I think that's going to be the case with everyone, regardless of where they finished in 2019.
Totally agree. The thing is, normally when you go on year, you tend to notice the depth a little bit more, but we've had 18 months off, and the fact that both since the 2020 season, when club recruited players on the pretense that they were going to play, some of those players aren't playing. And they've had to recruit new players. So to tackle another season, I actually found I'm going to be interested to see, like you, Matt, how Waverley Blues rebound in this season as well. I'm a little bit. You never seem to get much out of them. Like you can't find much information. They're a bit of an unknown quantity in some ways.
It's interesting that they're a club that for years was positioned in the old Division 2, so Division 1 now. So it was interesting to see how they went from down in there, and then had a year where they middled in the end, going down to Division 3 in the restructure, and now I think they're back up again to contend. Look, all the signs from what they're saying, it makes me, I've bought in a little bit to the hype in terms of I think they're going to be around the mark. But Donvale are another club with less public hype, but inside I think they're quite confident. Kevin Collins returns for another stint at the helm, and they finished 9-9 in 2019, and I think they were in a good position now to kick on, and with South Belgrave going up and being a side that dominated, Scoresby coming down, a side in a bit of a rebuild, so won't have that same effect, and then two sides coming up, it actually opens it up for those sides in that middle rung to maybe advance on their efforts in 2019.
I think it's going to be this is going to be another one of those
hard to pick.
Another one of them very interesting divisions to try and pick a winner. I noticed, Matt, there's Face Your Fears don't have a tipping contest.
No.
Maybe because it's going to be too hard to pick a winner in.
Well, exactly. People are going to get a bit grumpy when they have their wrong tips come in. But yeah, like I said, I think this division, whilst not as even as the two above them, I think is still very interesting in terms of who's going to take the opportunity, because when an undefeated team goes up, it leaves such a big void,
Yeah, that's right. But it is interesting. I'm going to go with the Waverley Blues here.
Yeah, so am I.
Simply because of 2019, but you can't base too much off that year.
I agree.
Absolutely. I agree with you, but yeah, it will be interesting to see how that one goes. Fair Park are announcing their arrival in Division 3 with a night fixture against Ferntree Gully, and speaking to one of their executive members over the summer, he was talking about the possibility of us covering their first game, Brash, and and I said, oh, well, you're playing Ferntree Gully, they'll be around the mark. You sure you want to, go up against a side that played finals last year? He goes, it doesn't matter what division Ferntree Gully are in, I'll always think they're no good.
So that's a bit rich, because they now head into a season 21 without a major spearhead in James Goff.
Exactly.
Who's signed on somewhere in Geelong, I believe. He's going to be a massive loss for them. But nonetheless, they've retained the core of their premiership team, and they've also added a bit of youth into that side. And one young man who will be playing regular senior football for them is their competition best and fairest in Mason Byrne. Yep. A very, very good footballer in the making, has a big heart, has a very smart football brain, knows where the ball is, but he's not afraid to get his hands dirty either. Expect him to make big strides for Fair Park this year.
Yeah, I'm going to back Ferntree Gully simply because they have their experience at this division, this level of class, and who knows with Fair Park how they're going to respond to that difference in level and intensity.
Wayne McInerney's playing at Ferntree Gully. That's why
Sean Curry returned.
Yeah, and that's why I did actually pick Ferntree Gully, because I just looked at their two sides, and I just thought that the Gully just had a little bit more experience heading into round one.
Agreed. And I like the night football concept as well, local footy level, so I hope it continues.
Well, people will be getting their footy fix. I know of a few people that will be going to one game and then filtering on down to that one. It will be interesting, to see how clubs adapt to Fair Park's unique ground. Obviously, a lot of grounds are small. You could consider Mitchum's ground small that we're at today, but Fair Park's is uniquely tiny. I've umpired a couple of games there ages ago.
Work across the road.
Exactly, work across the road. And sides do struggle to set up their defensive zones.
Because the pockets are so tight.
Because on a kick-out, you set up where you usually do, and the ball goes over your head anyway. So it will be interesting to see if Fair Park can get the hop-on sides in early in games and then maybe try to hold on that way. But like you two, I think Ferntree Gully's skill level and experience at this division will hold them in good stead. Scoresby come down. I think the year off was great for them because
they needed it.
Christian Bardsley said they had a lot of young players on the list. It's given them a chance to both train with the group as they could in between lockdowns, but also fill out a bit in their bodies and mature, which is a good thing because injuries can happen if you go too early as a young player. And they're taking on Glen Waverley, who struggled in 2019. And despite the fact that they're doing some great work off the field, I think Scoresby are going to have this one because they've still got players like Chadwick and Hicks.
Yeah, look, I think I ummed and ahed about this game because I, like you, I was pretty disappointed with Glen Waverley Hawks in 2019. Scoresby, after that really good year in 2018, they fell off a bit of a cliff in 2019. That worried me. Like you said, Matt, I agree with the fact that 2020 was probably a blessing in disguise for them to actually reboot because they needed to. But I'm still gonna go with Glen Waverley at Central this afternoon.
Well, I think Glen Waverley do know that ground very well. It has the vast expanses, probably very dissimilar to Fair Park, who we spoke about before.
Fair Park are going to be run off their feet.
That's right. Yeah, I might go with Glen Waverley, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close contest. And Christian Bardsley, AFL experience, as we know, I think he's a very good influence on that football club.
Well, and he also mentioned that he's really looking forward to seeing how his young players use their run and carry on the big surface of Scoresby. So Glen Waverley, or Staircom Arena, I think they're calling it this year. Is definitely somewhere that they'll enjoy playing.
Cha-ching.
So I'm going to go with the Magpies. So, sorry, and we did fail to mention Fair Park and Ferntree. Our thoughts do go out to the family of Ken Agarin.
Yes.
Away over Easter. He was due to play in the under-19s once again for Fair Park. So our thoughts do go to he and his family. And of course the Fair Park Football Club, and I believe he played some juniors at Boronia and Ferntree Gully. Moving on, and some more condolences, unfortunately, East Burwood Peter Bowie, a life member of both the Eastern Football Netball League and East Burwood, played over 300 games, won multiple premierships at East Burwood, and was a regular fixture at East Burwood Reserve during the football seasons gone by, having a couple of drinks with the locals. He unfortunately lost his battle to cancer recently at a ripe old age, though, fortunately, unlike Ken. But we do pass our condolences on to East Burwood and Peter's family. But they take on Whitehorse in their back up the divisions. Brash, as you said, controversially. Nonetheless, they are they're reversing their way up the East Burwood Highway. And
it's another night game, I believe.
It is another night game out there at the Ram Arena. And they're taking on Whitehorse. East Burwood, I don't think they lost the number of players back to Knox, where they had originally got them during their successful years in Division 4. They've obviously got a lot of talent that can compete at this level. But personally, I think Whitehorse, who did lose their coach Brad Torres late in the pre-season, but I think they've done a power of work in the off-season, getting a number of players back from their premiership side, but also bringing a few of them from the VAFA with them. So
getting Padbury back. He's a big plus because he's
very young too. He's got plenty of football left.
60 goals, 70 goals in those 2 seasons. He's going to be worth gold in this.
So personally, I'm leaning towards the Pioneers, but another game that, like we said, after a year off, no one knows who anyone is.
Yeah, look, you could play this game 10 times, and you'd say Whitehorse could win 6 and East Burwood 4, or vice versa. but on this occasion, I'm just going to tip Whitehorse.
I'm going with Whitehorse as well. Simply, Padbury is a massive inclusion. There's no question about that. And East Burwood, you mentioned before, an exodus of players out as opposed to the exodus of players in for Knox from a couple of years ago. I think it was early 2018 they had that influx of players. So I think there's always going to be that period of adjustment when you lose a significant core of your group. So I'll go with Whitehorse.
Absolutely. So there we have it. There's the 3 divisions done. And the most exciting thing about this is we've still got 2 to start, but all these 3 divisions, it's hard to pick a premier off the bat. It's not easy, but I'm going to ask you guys. Yeah, personally, I'll nail my colours to the mast now, Brash. I think it's going to be Croydon, Ringwood and Waverley Blues in the divisions to win it, but I know I've given you a bit of a question without notice. I'm sure you've been thinking about it in the pre-season, Wayne. Who are you looking at as
Croydon.
Croydon.
Boronia.
There you go.
And, I'll go Waverley Blues.
There we go, Waverley Blues. Boronia, your thoughts? You're just that depth that you spoke about before the break?
Yeah, look, and they've been building. They've been building for the last 2 or 3 years. Matt Clark, he builds teams for success very much in that Steve Buckle mode. Those 2 blokes are 2 of the best in the business, and we'll get to see Steve and his side, Doncaster East, in forthcoming weeks in Premier Division. But Matty Clark, he's going to once again, he's going to prove himself to be why he's one of the master coaches in the EFNL.
Boronia do a lot of very, very good work off the field too in terms of combining their one club. They've got 2 female sides, they've got a number of netball sides, their junior clubs blossoming, so they're setting themselves up to rise up the division. So I like that tip. Damo?
Well, I'll have to go with Croydon for Division 1, although I expect Park Orchards to be the bolter to really make an impact in finals.
Is it a bolter coming from the prelim, or are you taking a bolter from 5th?
Yeah, bolter from... Well, I think they'll be the big improver from where they were. That's probably what I meant to say. But with Division 2, I guess I'd have to go with Boronia, but expect Heathmont and Ringwood. I want to see a Heathmont v Ringwood preliminary final again, because it just continues to happen that they meet each other. Hopefully we get a repeat of what happened in 2017, Brash. That was one of the best games.
Ringwood fans won't be agreeing with you there.
No, I love that
one.
one.
They've had enough of losing.
And Division 3, I think Whitehorse might make a move this year.
You're tipping them for the flag. Yeah. There you go. That is an absolute smoky.
Yeah.
But look, I agree with you. Duncan Jones, I think,
Padbury's going to be a big impact.
Duncan Jones has taken the role in recent times, and again they have a number of very, very good inclusions. So I can see where you're coming from, but it's going to be interesting. We'll do Premier Division 4 obviously in depth next week, but just quickly, I've got Vermont and Coldstream. I assume you're going to be pretty similar, Brash. Coldstream are the runaway workers over the last 2 years. I think they've got a whole new squad, let alone side.
Yeah, actually, I am going to say Vermont, but I'll tell you what, it could be the year of Blackburn. They're going to be more smoking. Well,
that pains you to say it too, doesn't it, Brash?
It doesn't pain me, but look, they've got in Premier League. They've got one of the best junior setups, and they're going to reap the benefits. And I reckon Brendan Allen will be licking his lips this year.
You are right about their junior setup, but Vermont have served as the yardstick, though, for so many years.
Well, Rodney Eade keeps saying that Vermont's going to be, he said it himself, that Vermont's still going to be the yardstick.
Yeah.
So, look, it's...
That's all you can base it off. That's why I'm backing them.
Yeah, you got to go with Vermont, but I reckon Doncaster East, with the squad that they've assembled, could be the smoky.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's definitely going to be an interesting year ahead for us, guys. And the sun looks to have reappeared.
And don't you love it?
Over here at Walker Park. If you are in the area, of course, we'd love you to continue listening or watching along. But, you can... Of course, the SEN app, Brash, you can be at the game and chuck your AirPods or your headphones in, put it on your phone. You can listen to us as we go along and stand in the sunshine here at Walker
Or you could
Park.
do what I did years ago, Matt, and sit on an intercity express train in Germany and watch the broadcast on YouTube.
Well, there you go. That was the one viewer we had in Germany. There you go.
Were anyone else interested on that train?
Pardon?
Anyone else interested?
Peeking over your shoulder?
Yeah, I had a couple.
Yeah.
Wondering what on earth we were looking at?
Yeah.
And how did you go?
They didn't understand the size of the shape of the ball.
Oh, okay. You probably had to explain all the rules.
How is your German, though, Brash?
Not good.
Not good?
9.
Absolutely. So on the other side, I believe we've got another break coming up in a couple of seconds. On the other side of this, we'll dive into Mitchum versus Wantirna South. We've got plenty to discuss here, and of course, and then after that, we'll be straight into the action. So it's getting exciting now, guys. The first ball up of season 2021 is only minutes away.
You there, Pete?
Yes, welcome back once again to Walker Park here in Mitchum for this Division 1 clash between the Tigers and the Wantirna South Devils. And boys, we've done all the divisions here, Damien Watson and Wayne Brasher. We've done Divisions 1, Divisions 2, Divisions 3, but we've left this game till last. It's our first match of the round in almost 18 months. We're very excited to be here. Of course, it's the Tigers who'll be unfurling their Division 2 flag against the Devils, who finished in 2019 second last, just above Knox with 6 wins and a draw. Just a few notes on how they went in 2019 respectively. Mitchum, of course, in the division below, 12 wins and 6 losses, but came from third to win that very interesting
famous grand final.
Famous grand final. I've already had 3 or 4 comments about that today, actually, around the ground. They were the second best attack in 2019, but their defence was the 5th worst out of 8. So that is a danger sign for them. But on the other side of the coin, Wantirna South had the worst attack in 2019. Didn't even kick 1,000 points, and their against was number 8. That happens when you're down the bottom of the ladder. The most goals for Mitchum in 2019, Jake Parenti kicked 43, but he's not playing today. I think he's got a bit of a back spasm. And Jesse Cherry was their most frequent player in the best with 9 appearances. For the Devils, it was Lincoln Wong, who's a genuine star of this division. He was 13 times in the best. He's still got plenty of football left ahead of him. And Luke Grimer, with 17 goals, was their leading goal kicker. That was the 20th ranked goal kicker in the division last year. But Brash, they've brought in a host of new players.
Yeah, they have,
and they're going to hit the scoreboard for them, hopefully.
Well, they are, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is probably the biggest regeneration change of a football club that I've seen in the last 5 years in the Eastern Football League.
I can name a few of them for you, Brash. So we've got Marcus Jordan, who you mentioned previously, coming from Knox. He kicked 30 goals, or 29, sorry, in 2019. He's actually suspended for this game, so he won't be out there, but he's kicked 106 goals in 131 games for Knox, so that's going to be...
He was a hero in the 2017 grand final.
I believe he might have been player of the man of the match.
Yeah, he scored 4 goals.
He did. Robbie McComb is across from Vermont with another player. He's Footscray VFL listed, but I believe he is running out there today. I'm not entirely sure. He's not on the team.
Premiership player.
Exactly. Jack O'Keefe kicked 60 goals for Vermont's reserves and didn't play a game in the ones in 2019, but it's pretty hard to best Brett Eddy and Jake Best.
Reserve best and fair.
Exactly.
And premiership player.
James Crikers kicked 20 goals and 6 times in the best for the reserves last year and played a handful of senior games.
2-time premiership reserve player.
Pat Wallace, 10...
The nth degree to stick up for his players.
Loves his local footy.
And he loves his local football. And the thing is, he'll get the best out of these young, because these guys, and another one we hadn't even talked about, Charlie Young.
Yeah,
Charlie Young. Now, that kid, right, 2018, 2019, I think played 6 games because he was out injured. I watched him one day come off a half-back flank. If he's allowed to play that running high ball style, he's gonna decimate oppositions with his foot speed and skills. He's another player you got to watch out for.
I was just going to mention, Brash, the comparison between Division 1 reserve standard and
Premier.
Premier, sorry, now of course, and also this standard here. And I mean,
that's another big question, because a lot of people I've spoken to have said, oh, well, they're part of Vermont's reserves. They'll easily be up to this level, but then other people have said to me they're reserves players for a reason. But a number of them aren't just reserves players, Brash. They've played ones games in the best side of the modern era.
Nearly those 10 guys, the 10 players we've talked about, they could have gone to any other club in Premier or even Division 1, and they'd be playing in their senior grade football.
There you go, Damo. You've had it there first.
They're very much emphatic.
I know you said it'll take a month, but once they do, Joe, I think the Devils are going to shoot up the ladder. On the Mitchum side of things, only a couple real changes from their 2019 Premiership side. Dylan Brooks has joined from Yarra Junction, a key defender, very good lockdown defender. He will give Lachlan Rudd some help down in defence. Look out for him, though. He's got a bit of the afro and a moustache. He's a bit of a character. Alex Barton-Smith joins from Ferntree Gully. A couple of best and fairest there at the Eagles. A step up in quality. 2 steps up, really, for Alex. He's coming from Division 3 up to Division 1, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. And Angus Archibald, who's not named today, but has played a handful of games at Old Carey. They're out. James McCubbin goes to Greensborough and joins his brother there, but I don't think he played much in the latter half of 2019 anyway.
No.
Key points for them, like I said, Brooks will help Rudd in defence, and that was a worry for 2019. As they said, they were the 5th worst defence out of 8 teams, despite winning the premiership. Neil Winston thinks their speed and youth is going to be their key for them, and their run and carry game, which with the new stand on the mark rule might help even further. But one thing he is wary of is their foot skills. He thinks that sometimes the youth have a tendency to overcommit going forward, as we've seen St Kilda in the AFL do, Damo.
Yeah, yep.
And if you turn it over, you can get hurt going the other way. And with Vermont's quality, that's something that could happen, and they'll need to avoid.
I think the one thing, though, the one thing that does stand out between the two sides is the fact that Mitchum have been able to, big plus for them is they've been able to retain the majority of their squad.
Oh, yeah.
Stability helps when you've had 12 months out.
That counts for a lot. And then as against basically a new club bringing in nearly half a side of new recruits, that you're right, the time to gel, it could take time. But then on the other hand, we sort of shouldn't underestimate youth, because they just continue to surprise, don't they?
It gives us an insight into the club's culture when you're stable for a long period of time as well. If players want to be retained.
I've been told 70 players on Mitchum's list.
So that's massive.
That's massive. And as I said, they've actually got a number of premiership players playing in the reserves today due to lack of training with other commitments and blokes getting engaged and having honeymoons. So they're obviously trying to build something that's bigger than just staying in the division. But I think this year's a great opportunity for the Tigers, given Upper Gully and Lewdale's losses. As you said, they retained their list. Lachlan Ryan returns. You know, the quality of Cherry, Smythe, Carroll, Ryan himself, Will Gordon, who won best on ground in that grand final. And I think there's a couple of good players running around in the reserves today as well who are of equal strength. So I think today's going to be a very good game, much closer than many would expect. Quick tips, guys, before we head off. I've got the Devils by 28 points.
I got the Devils, but I didn't think by that much.
Devils by 2 goals.
There you go. So we're all tipping relatively close games, but it's a clean sweep for the Devils. Guys, before we sign off and head off to the break once again, it's been fantastic to have an hour chat with you guys.
I've been missing it.
We've got to congratulate Damo, Brash. He's got to leave us. He's going to call the AFLW prelim today. And,
on your day, mate.
And what a step up. We know he'll be like a duck to water, but who's your tip in that one, mate?
I'm going to go with Brisbane at home against Collingwood.
And what about you, Brash? You across that enough to offer a tip?
No.
No? I'm going to go with you. I think the Lions, they've been
But I'll go Brisbane just to even it up, make it all 3.
Yeah, the Lions, they've been around the mark for a few years in the AFL.
A couple of grand finals already.
Exactly, mate. You know, so you excited?
Oh, absolutely. And coming off the WNCL final recently as well, really enjoying it.
A female sport aficionado now, mate.
Oh, hopefully it continues. But I love the EFNL, and it's great to have it back.
Absolutely. So on the other side of this break here from Walker Park, we'll be back with the first bounce or ball up of season 2021. It's been a pleasure, gents. And,
absolutely.
Thanks, local footy's back.
Bloody oath.
see us with a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind and never mind, we'll fight and win forever from Tigerland. We never weaken till the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger. Yellow and black, we're from Tigerland. With a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind and never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weaken till the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger. Yellow and black, we're from
Welcome back to Walker Park once again. It's Matt Footy here with you, and it's the Eastern Football Netball League Round 1 of 2021. 18 months in the making. It's Mitchum Tigers taking on the Wantirna South Devils in Division 1. I've been here with Wayne Bratchett for over an hour, but joining us after a bit of a layoff, Brett Beston, you're back in the box, mate, and you're looking forward to things.
I'm looking forward to it immensely. It's been a long wait, just 18 months for everyone, so you can sort of sense the excitement. I went for a walk a little while ago. The spectators are up and about. I'm sure the players are up and about. This is going to be a great occasion. At the moment, despite a few showers just sweeping across the ground, we're looking okay weather-wise. So.
Blue skies at the moment. I think it will be a few scattered showers. Our boys are heading down to the boundary as we speak to just get a grasp on things down there. We've done our tips, mate. We've both got the Devils winning. What about you, Besto? What have you got?
I had the Devils winning anyway, just because they're more experienced, obviously, in this division. But the Robbie McComb I see as a late in for the Devils, which I think is huge. I mean, they lost Taylor Leggett in the off-season, but McComb more than offsets that. So it's the Devils for me today, I think, by maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, he'll be a rare inclusion, I believe, this year with him on the Footscray VFL list, and actually was touted on social media a couple of times in the pre-season as someone they're expecting to have a big year for the VFL Dogs. They're going to be raising the flag, of course, unfurling the Division 2 flag from 2019 down here at Tigerland. We're in the old grandstand, but the new rooms, Brash, you walked past them. What did you think of them?
Awesome. I reckon it's a great little
It is a nice little venue here now.
It is, and, look... and they've also took the opportunity to redo the ground as well, Matt, at the same time.
Exactly.
And the ground, even with that little showers that we've had and a little bit of rain, has freshened the ground up immensely, and it's looking an absolute picture before the big kick-off.
Absolutely. Now we're going to try and cross down to our boundary riders, Steve White and Ryan Long down there, to have a look at the conditions and what their view on the game's going to be.
Yeah, thanks, Matty. Pretty good conditions, actually, at the moment. And Brash, you're quite right. It's still in really good nick, despite the little bit of moisture we had there, that little flash shower. Some rain clouds in the distance, so I think it's going to be patchy in terms of the weather. In terms of the outlook for both teams, I'm actually tipping Wanty South by 2 goals.
And Ryan, of course, he's on debut down there,
Yes,
Steve.
so we shouldn't throw him in the deep end, Ryan.
No. What have you got for us, Ryan?
Thanks, boys. Yeah, it's not too bad out here. A little bit damp on the ground, but otherwise conditions not too bad, but expect a bit of rain on and off today. I'm also going to be tipping Wantirna South. Bit unknown with Mitchum moving up a division, but yeah, tip the Devils by 3 goals.
There we go. So I think we're all in unison here with the Devils. Thanks for that, boys. Well done on debut down there, Longy.
Yeah,
I
welcome
think
to
Jackson
the team,
Glossop has won the toss, and Mitchum look like they're going to kick. I may be wrong, but I think they're going to kick towards the Maroondah Highway end of the ground.
Stephen, Ryan, sorry guys, just a question without notice. Is the ground, is it slippery on top? It's obviously a little bit soft, but is there any sort of moisture on top?
Yeah, just a little bit, mate, but no more than the moisture that was on the BWS's car seat last night. Apparently couldn't make the game.
It's a bit of a late dig, but all good, all fair in love and more. I think they're going to unfurl the flag now, boys. What a moment for this footy club, Brash, who, of course, were a powerhouse for a number of years, as you were growing up, no doubt. And to see them coming back up the divisions, what do you think?
Well, look, I was really wrapped. The 2019 series, I actually thought Mitchum come of age again as a football club. They had to work extremely hard in all 3 finals, and to get the reward at the end of it for hard work. They had a couple of injuries on the day, but they managed to still find a way. And look, I doff my hat to them. They're back. They're back.
Absolutely, and Besto, of course, you haven't been around the eastern suburbs of football like Brash has for so many years, but how much are you looking forward to and seeing a powerful Mitchum in the years to come?
Oh, it's going to be great. I mean, it's nothing more than a club that's sort of on the rise, isn't it? I mean, they've won as Brace said, the Division 2, so there's always that question mark over how they'll go in the higher division, because there's always a bit of a step up, usually in intensity. The physicality's there, and usually the pace is a little greater, but they'll adjust. It might take them a couple of weeks. It might not. They may just hit the ground running today, but looking forward to their season. They're a good side, and looking forward to see what they bring to the table.
Absolutely. That flag, look at it, Brash. It's just billowing in the wind. That doesn't look like too strong a breeze out here at Walker Park, and as the boys mentioned down on the boundary line, everything is in pristine condition. It's family day down here at Tigerland. The junior club's set up on the far side of the ground.
Yeah, great to see the crowds back too. Everyone's been starved of local footy for 18 months, and you know, it's great to see the local people, as I've said earlier, back out supporting their local footy club. Interesting, I was just saying to Besto off air last week, down in the Mornington Peninsula League, Matty, there was Sorrento actually played their first game, and they had ended up with 7 hammies and 2 calves out of the day.
It was quite hot though last week, wasn't it? So
it was, but to lose nearly half your side to injury in the first round, hope that doesn't happen here.
I think they should have sacked the conditioning staff.
Exactly. And as we mentioned pre-game, Brash, a lot of sides trying to create that atmosphere at the ground, and the music is pumping here at Walker Park. They've always been on the front foot when it comes to events and sponsorship and so on. As you can see, the ground is just covered in sponsorship hoardings from Eastland to the coach to Jealous Craig, and it's fantastic to see the club doing everything they can off the field to support their boys on the field. The Tigers purring, ready to go, and the Devils, as we said, a sneaky September contender for mine, Brash. But Besto, welcome back, mate, to the box, and I think I might be on for an early start here, but take it away, mate. Once you get
Thanks,
your go.
no pressure.
Exactly, mate. It's a late call up. We've had a few changes.
Looking forward. You can see him on camera now. Number 1, Lincoln Wong for Wantirna South. He's a super player, and he's going to be a real asset today.
And it looks like he's lining up on Jesse Cherry, who's another good player.
I believe Lincoln's still the captain of the club too.
So Sirens.
Jake Deans.
Sirens gone, and umpire sends it high, and footy is officially back. What a fantastic moment this is. Taken in nicely there by Deans, the big man. Goes to ground. The ball pops out. It's there for Wantirna South. They get it free. It's a little bit untidy in the early stages, as you'd expect. Now a handball out towards the boundary, and we'll have our first boundary throw in just in front of our boundary riders. There is Lincoln Wong, number 1. He won the best and fairest, I believe, back in 2019 as well. So fabulous player. There's the ball in. Goes over the back of Deans. Going in there looking for it was Walker. Mitchum have got it though, and a strong tackle. Joseph it was who took it to ground. And the umpire will throw it up again. It's going to be this feeling out period you sense between the two sides. Great ruck win there for Mitchum. Ball comes out, spills out towards the boundary line, and taken across for a boundary throw-in.
I think one of the things you're right, Brett, it's going to be the feeling out period probably for the opening 5 to 10 minutes. Each side just looking to find their feet.
So it's thrown in again. Gordon and Deans, the new skipper, player voted, down to Wong. Got taken maybe high by Gordon, and the umpire, not the central one, come from the side there, has given it to Wong, and he plays on immediately. Kicks along inside forward 50. Who will mark down there? Backing back was Glossop. I think it was spoiled by the Devils player. Will it run through for a behind? And we're away for season 2021. That's a rush behind. But I'm going to give it to Lincoln Wong nonetheless for his long ball inside 50. So the Tigers will look to bring it back into play. Just 1.5 minutes gone so far in this first quarter. Plays on immediately, doing the kick-ins. Long to centre wing, looking for Gordon. Big fly over the back. That's unrealistic. Gordon was being held anyway, and he will get the free kick. Just this side, defensive side of the centre wing for the Tigers. And he plays on immediately. Gives the handball off to the runner, coming past in Uran, who chips it over the top. Looking for a target there in Nicholas, who dropped the mark and then had to do his own work in the tackle there and wrapped up. That was one there in Patrick Wallace.
That was one of the key things about Mitchum's premiership one. High tackle count on their opposition to wear them down.
So it's back in play again from the boundary throw in. It's Grimer who gets the kick in. In fact, it wasn't Grimer, it was Gordon, should I say, hooks it back in towards the goals. And a snap, I think it's gone through, has it? No, it's missed.
One behind Jesse
It was
Smith.
very close. So
number 14, Jesse Smith.
Jesse Smith it was.
Smythe.
We'll go with Smythe, I think.
Smythe.
Smythe, yeah.
Some people call it Smith, but I reckon it's Smythe.
So one behind each. Yet to see the first goal for the 2021 EFNL season as Wantirna South bring the ball back into play. The kick more or less down the middle of the ground. Goes up. It was Grimer that time who got over his head. Now it's been hacked forward. Inside 50. Ball goes to ground. Can they get it? It's O'Keefe who was trying to get his hands on it, but it's out now for Mitchum, and Carroll has it at half-back, and he will clear it. In fact, he switched it. A dangerous kick back inside. It's going to be taken there and lost. Now it's on the ground again. Mitchum going in. That's number 16, Rudd. Fantastic player, the fullback. One of the better players in this Mitchum side.
Interesting matchup. Jack O'Keefe's obviously playing key forward, Brash, and it looks like Jackson.
So, ball up again, and comes down. And a good tackle coming in there by Grimer. He's been good early as the ball comes out towards the boundary line, and we lose sight of it as it's hooked back in there off the boot of Greg. And up they fly.
Good
and
mark.
A beautiful mark taken there. Fantastic stuff by the big man. I think it's
turn around for us here.
Might be. Is it Deans?
23.
23. It is.
Nick Beams.
It's Nick Beams, the big man, Nick Beams. Some tall timber in this Wantirna South side. Of course,
Nice size about him too.
yeah, he certainly is. So he's got the kick of about 30 metres. He's more or less right out in front, and he caresses it through, I think. Yep, that's the first goal of season 2021. And Nick Beams puts it through, and it's Wantirna South with the early lead, 1-1 against one behind in the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Oh, well, Nick Beams puts his name down in the history books.
First goal post-pandemic, Brad.
Yeah. The one thing I have noticed though, even though the ground looks okay from where we are, it still must be a little slippery underfoot because some of the players are still struggling with their feet here.
And the nerves, of course, that would come with such a build-up to a season. So Gordon will go up in the ruck again. Deans, once again, wins the tap down this time. Deans. Cherry was there for the Tigers and got wrapped up on the cricket pitch, which is uncovered. And it will be interesting to see how the play, once everyone calms down, Brash, if it unfolds into a slightly slicker version of play with the new rules that are trying to encourage better ball movement. Coming off half-back of the Tigers here. Can't get the handball out. There was Horsey.
Just the one thing I noticed with Jack O'Keefe and the two forward forays was the fact that he failed to hold his feet after engaging in the contest. He's got to try and hold his feet a lot more.
Wong got the handball out there for the Devils, and the little snap around the corner lands in the arms there of Jared Smith, the man from Ararat. He goes across the ground looking for Beams once again. Rudd might have grabbed the jumper, and he has. Free kick paid. And Beams has the ball 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle, and he's turned his back on everyone. He says, I'm going to have a ping.
When you look at Jared Smith, another ex-Vermont boy as well from years gone by. Brooke Caney, number 7, another one that we haven't spoken about. There's just an absolute plethora of Vermont players out there representing Wantirna South, and it's great.
So Beams leans back on that one, and it did not look good off the boot at all. It just sort of wobbled through for a behind. So the Devils are 1-2-8, Nick Beams is 1-1-7, and the Tigers are 1 behind. We've gone 5.5 minutes in this first quarter.
So, Mitchum to bring the ball back in. Let's go boundary, actually. Ray Beard is down on the... In fact,
Steve White.
Steve White, sorry.
Sorry, that was an impromptu guide. I was just actually coaching the boundary rider and how to get cross down to the boundary. But
While you're there.
That being said, no, just your earlier comment, there is a slight breeze now blowing across the ground laterally, so that might be a factor later in the quarter.
Thanks, Steve. Sorry for calling you Ray as well. Up it goes. Nice hit out there by Grimer. It falls for Wantirna South as they try and get a clean possession, but there's a free kick going to be paid. And Wantirna South with the football in the hands of Mendes. Mendes goes forward, goes out to the wing, and a good stop, mark taken over there. That's Crikis. Some big men in this Wantirna South side.
A lot of people in the gym doing their own home workouts over 2020.
Absolutely.
On the right side for Nick, for young Crikis, James Crikis, he's a left footer, so got the natural angle for him.
He's going to have a ping. He comes in from just on 50. He's met it not too bad, but it looks to be offline. And it was a good effort, but it's just gone away for a behind. So
it almost looked like there, Brett, that the wind had dragged that across a little bit.
Yeah, it looked to hit it pretty well, but maybe the wind just got it at the end. So 139 plays one behind at the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and we've had 6 minutes.
So Benjamin Joseph to bring it back in again. He's going to go to what we now call the defensive side with the way the breeze will drag it towards the boundary line. He's looking for the big men, but it's all the Devils out there. And Brooke Caney, another one of those ex-Eagles, takes the marks, looks inboard immediately for Wong, but finds his opposite number in Winterton, the veteran of the Eastern Football Netball League. He hands it off to Milne in the middle. So Tigers looking to switch. He's got it dead on centre half back. He's called to play on. Tries to step around his man there in Greg. Got the handball away just in time, but they're under pressure now, the Tigers. Handball comes out and they switch it out to the wing with Marrow. Dropped mark out there. Coming through was Barrow and he cleaned someone up, but Wong got the handball inboard. Now Winterton again, taken. Got his hand free. And then they pile in. Some of his own players piling on top of him, and they'll have a ball up. There was Lachlan Ryan there, the last man in. So you can see what the Tigers are trying to do there, Brash, but just skill execution hurting them.
Well, you did say that skills execution might be a little bit lacking at the start.
So Dean slapped it forward. Getting the handball out of there was Mendes, Nicholas. Now he tried to flick it even wider to Crikis, who had a shot before, and now it's taken out of bounds by the Tigers on left half forward, or right half forward, sorry, for the Devils, who lead by 8 points in these early stages of the season 2021.
I think
Patrick Wallace almost went through the boundary umpire there, Brash.
Yeah, the Tigers probably need to put a bit of time into Lincoln Wong. He's having a bit of an influence around the stoppages.
It looks like Marrow's the one with him now, not necessarily. Oh, sorry, Jared West. Sorry, is with him. So McComb, first touch for the Devils. Left foot ball inside forward 50. Looking for beams once again. Joseph gets the crumbs front and centre and just pumps it madly down the wing. Big fly from behind there from Cherry. And he spoils it over the line for the Tigers, and they'll take that 50 metres gained, Besto, and it's still 8 points the difference in favour of the Devils, and we're coming up on 9 minutes gone.
There it is. So the umpire to throw it in as the sun continues to shine. Conditions okay for the moment. It gets the getting to the front spot and knocking it down there. It was Mitchum who won the kit out. Now it's inside 50. Can they get a mark? No, it's been put down there, dropped by Crikis, and in fact there's a snap. And
Number
what is
two, Greg.
Number 2, it's Greg, Lockie Greg, who jumped on that loose ball, and a bit of a comedy of errors there, and well picked up and well roved as we watch the replay, and you can see Greg just coming in there, picking it up, and just really an opportunist goal. And Mitchum were disappointed with that because they seem to have that covered, but they just lost it at the crucial moment, and Greg puts it through. So second goal for Wantirna South, and they lead 2-3, 15 to 1 behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Just quickly, Brash, you mentioned Lincoln Wong. He's so good inside, doesn't he? Gets that first hands on the footy, and his quick handball opens up the play for the Devils, and Mitchum need to match them on the inside as they go up again. Just getting the quick kick out of there, or attempting to, in the ruck for the Tigers. I think he's got a different jumper on the big man there, number 13, so it might be Matt Gordon. Anyway, ball spills out over the Tigers logo on centre wing. Good handball from Smythe to Nicholas, and Nicholas goes along inside forward 50. It's a small forward line for the Tigers. Can someone get to the front spot? The ball bounces out the back. Who will it sit for? It's a foot race here. Persis missed
call.
it, and then away go the Devils. Handball over the top to McComb, who gives it back, and they're linking up over on centre wing. It's Jared Smith, has to wheel back inside, didn't want to, but does well to turn his defender. Handball over the top to Wong. He could go on to McComb, ignores that option, goes with the long ball inside forward 50 towards Crikis. Backing back there was the man in what looks to be Walker, and the Tigers should clear their lines with Marrow sweeping it across to Glossop.
So they go down the line, the Tigers, and an opportunity for them to maybe find their first goal of the afternoon. That's not a great kick, but a huge hit coming in there from Walker. Massive hit, and the umpire is going to blow his whistle. And what are we going to have? A free kick. He has paid the free kick.
Neil Winnerton.
So
Good to see
Mitchum.
him back on the park as well.
Indeed, the veteran for Mitchum. Now they'll go inside 50 here. Can they get a mark and find their first goal? They go right to the pocket, but it's been lost over there on the far side. No, in fact, what is there, a free kick? No, it's out. I think on the must have already gone out.
I think one of the things that Steve Cochran would be really happy about is his half-forward line are working really hard to keep that ball in that forward 50.
You see Robbie McComb just moving into the front of the stoppage there. He'll be a key this afternoon as the ball goes in. Wrestling the ruckman. It's knocked down there well, though, by Mitchum. Ball comes out, diving in there, trying to get his hands on it was Walker. He's been good early too. And that's well and truly wrapped up, and there's no chance of it coming out. And we'll have a secondary ball up.
I almost think the Whitehorse Road end could be the more difficult of the two ends to score this afternoon.
Yeah, it's an interesting one as it's thrown in, slapped away out of there by Beams, who's kicked one of the early goals for the Devils. Wallace trying to run onto it, doing well in there. Looked to be Cherry, but he couldn't get away from the boundary line. So we'll have another ball in, dead on centre wing on the far side there. The Tigers, family day over there, no cars parked, get down. Have a look around. They had the jumping castle up, but I think the wind had done for it early, but it's back up again. Tap back out into the corridor. So can the Tigers take advantage? They switch the play with a grubber kick into the centre half forward position. It's socket off the ground. Coming through there was Nicholas. He's been in the action early, but they can't quite get any clean possession, Brash, and that's been the difference so far between the two sides as Long comes off the ground.
And I just think Wantirna South have been a little bit more cleaner with their ball disposal.
Tigers win another hit out, but coming out of defence once again is the Devils. Left foot ball's a bit of a scrubber, hitting it now as you ran, just whacks it on the boot, high ball to the full forward position. Can someone take a mark for the Tigers? Brought it to ground. They'll need to lock it in. Trying to break a tackle there was McComb, got the handball out, then they flick it through again. Once little kick around the corner was smothered from Oakley, and then picking it up now and pumping it long is Jared Smith. And it should be all. It's Jack O'Keefe out there, but the boundary line wins out, and we'll have a ball in right half forward for the Devils. They're 2-3-15. Mitchum, the one behind. We've gone 13 minutes in this first quarter.
So can't say Mitchum haven't had their opportunities. They've been inside 50 2 or 3 times, but they just can't put the finishing touches on it. As we wait for the ball back into play, Ruckman go at it. It might have been just a tap, I think, by Mitchum. Got to the front spot there. As the ball comes down now, Mitchum, they've got another opportunity to go forward here. It was Carroll with the ball. Now it's going inside 50, but it's a pretty messy entry, and Caney cuts it off, and Wantirna South will bring it forward. Now it's on the ground again. It's there for the taking. McComb, I think it was, who went in there. Now it's come out for Barton Smith. Incredibly untidy, this passage of play, but here's the put on the boot now of Wantirna South as they go to full forward, but the ball is spilled. Another opportunity goes begging for a mark, and on the ground there is Walker, who gets a handball away, and now Wantirna South can bring it out and repel another Mitchum attack.
Exactly right. They're doing that with these. That was Freeman exiting defensive 50 for the Devils.
A really experienced backman, Jackson Freeman.
And a lot fitter now too as well. And there seems to be a bit of controversy down on the boundary line. Lincoln Wong's just coming on straight off the bench. Hopefully our guys can see what's going on out there.
Might be the blood rule.
It must be, but I'm sure the guys will be onto it soon enough.
Can't see too much.
So we're going
there
we go. We're cutting across down Bruce to the boundary line. Ryan Long's going to tell us what's going on.
Yeah, it's just number 22, Hamish McGowan, has just come off with a blood rule. Just been hit in a contest just before, so coming out to the boundary now.
That's a shame. Hopefully for Hamish it's not that bad and he'll be back on the ground shortly.
No, but it's a good chance for the Tigers to set up behind the ball. They should be able to at least force the Devils into a long ball down the line, but given the height of the Devils, Brash, that might not be in their best interests. Play due to restart anytime soon. As we mentioned, 14 points the difference. Devils in front of the Tigers. Some are calling them the Vermont Devils, Brash. Or the Wantirna South Eagles.
Yeah,
such is their.
I think we're waiting for a football, guys. I don't think.
No, he's got it. He's finally.
He's got it. There you go.
Off the ground. So they go long down centre wing as we predicted. It's a bit of a mung. It'll be hard to mark, and players come from everywhere. But it ends up in the hands there of Grimer for the Devils, and it's just in dispute. Wong once again. Look at those hands.
Brilliant.
Brash got into the middle. They go inside forward 50 towards the man down there in Deans. Rudd, the red mist, does well. Turns his man inside out and then chips it out looking for Glossop. Misses his man though. Out of bounds on the full. And who's the closest man to this footy? I think it's Robbie
McComb, yeah.
He's going to pretend to pass it off, now, but he's been told to straighten up. So he's hemmed in on the boundary line at a very generous 45 metres. to kick the Devils third. He might just pop it to the top of the square. That's what he has done. Deans is coming from about 4 deep. He got there, but it's rushed through for another behind for the Devils. They're 2-4-16. Mitchum 1 behind. We've gone 16 minutes in this first quarter.
So, Mitchum to bring the ball back into play. Robbie McComb already stamping his mark on this game, as you'd expect. Top quality player, part of that fantastic Vermont side over the last few years. Brought back into play now. It's a kick out and the mark taken in the back pocket. So just a slow, hang on, what's the umpire saying here? He wants it taken again by the looks. Not happy. So Joseph it is. In no hurry. I think the players probably, you'll find probably in about the third quarter, could get some fatigue sitting in. There's the short kick. It's nicely marked as well by Barton Smith. Mitchum just chipping. Oh, that's not a good kick, and it's gone right over the back. It was Uran who was there, and it's gone out of bounds. So just a bit of sloppy play, and McComb again will have the ball on the far side, and he will kick it back into play. A few runners going forward. Walker was looking for it, but McComb, no, he decides to hang on to it. Now he goes inside 50. Can he hit a target? Up fly the big men. It was Crikers who was there, but it's fallen for Mitchum, and they get it out. But just a question of whether they can... no, they can't. It's going to come straight back. Lang has it. Lang wheels onto the right boot. Now he goes long inside 50. It's a good kick to the hot spot over the head of Joseph, who nearly got a mark. There's McComb in there again, and he just sees it over the boundary. It was a good kick, but just unfortunately just couldn't quite get on the end of that one. The big talls.
The best spot to kick in that area down there is that 15 to 20 metre mark right in the hot middle of the ground there. That's the hot spot at Mitchum. So Glossop, recently engaged, pumps it down the line out of defence, but it's once again turnover, and Jake Deans has got the mark. And we spoke about those skills, Rash, that Neil Winston, and it's going to be 50 metres actually, it might be someone moving on the mark there, our first of 2021, and Jake Deans will come to well within scoring range. The skills of Mitchum so far, I've heard them, they've had a couple of chances to rebound nicely and turn it over, so it's either the defensive setup of the Devils or the skills of the Tigers. They might need to start lowering their eyes and kick the ball lower going into their forward line, because the wind's playing havoc up that end. So Deans wheels onto the left boot and just wobbles one towards goal, and it's gone to the near side. 2-5-17 the Devils. Mitchum just the one behind there. They could have put them away already, best of the Devils, but
they could have. Yep,
their
absolutely.
bad goal kicking is keeping the Tigers within touching distance. We're edging closer to time on, and it's a 16-point lead for the Devils. So Joseph to bring it back in. It's a fair comment too about the Mitchum side. They have tended to bomb it in long rather than lower the eyes and try and hit a target. It's certainly going against them at the moment as the ball goes to ground. Looking for it was Barton Smith. It's on the deck. Diving on it was Lucas for Mitchum, and it's wrapped up nice and tight. And we'll have a throw in. So no, it's Lincoln Wong at the bottom of the pack. Lincoln Wong. You're right about that, lowering the eyes, Brash, because they're kicking into a breeze too, the Tigers. We just saw that one. They're trying to kick it over the back, but they're kicking into a breeze. Dean's got the tap. There's the kick smothered. Now Mitchum with an opportunity to go inside 50. What can they produce this time? Again, it's no mark taken. They just can't seem to finish off as the ball goes to ground. It's up for contest. Lincoln Wong, there he is again, having a fantastic game. And the mark is, the ball up will be held just short of the 50. But the other thing is too, their players are not holding their feet on that half forward line either. So there it is again. Dean's got the tap and the big man. Now it's going to fall. Here's an opportunity for a goal surely, but looks like it good kick is going to be touched on the line potentially. No, it's a goal. It's gone through from Lucas. There were hands right on the line, and I thought for a minute someone might have got a fingertip to it. The umpire had a good look, but he's decided that it was good enough as we watch the replay. And it was a bit of a floater, really, and the players were on the line, but it was Lucas who got it in the end, and good work on the line as well there by Persis, who just shepherded it through. So Mitchum finally on the board with their first goal of the afternoon. It's a goal against the grain, really, because Mitchum have been trying so many different things, but their delivery into their forward 50 hasn't been good, and as I said, their players haven't been able to keep their feet. Absolutely, and like you said, Wantirna South will be ruining their missed opportunities as Deans goes up, just took it out of the ruck. Winston gets the clearance, a wobbler towards centre half forward. Lucas is the man there, but he's beaten in the air by David Lang, who's dead on centre half back. Oh, he played on and he's gone! He's gone. He's wrapped up by the big fella coming through like an absolute steam train there in Matthew Gordon, who's the only man over 6 foot in the Tigers forward line, and he's got a bit to say to David Lang, who must have just stepped up his line there, guys. And Big Gordon, not quite a dainty man, just snuck up on him and took him out. And he's kicking into what is a strong breeze. He's going to probably aim for the right-hand goal post. And this to bring the Tigers back to within 4 points. Yep. Very close to the man on the mark, though, here, Brash. The big fella didn't look comfortable, but it struck it pretty nicely. Right. 2 in a minute for the Tigers. He's given it the double cobra. That's the first one of 2021. The Tigers 2-1-13. Devils 2-5-17, and we've gone 20 and a half minutes here in the first quarter.
Well, that was a delicate touch as he lowered the ball onto his foot.
Wasn't it? It was a long way down for the big fella. Yeah, we got a ball. So.
Oh, and a bit of
argy-bargy.
Footy's back.
Yeah, and don't we love it?
You blokes with the talk, we're tiptoeing through the tulips next. As the ball goes back to the middle, Mitchum have really hit back, and very timely too, right on the quarter-time break. Neil Winterton will be much happier than he would have been if they'd gone in with the situation as it was. Now the ball goes up, and a free kick's going to be pulled.
Free kick, shepherding in the ruck there.
A little something off the ball there. It was Gordon who got a slap round the mush. And in fact, the free kick's actually gone to Wantirna South.
He shepherded in the ruck.
Okay, there's the long kick forward to about half forward. Hands go up and it's fallen though, but it's going to be a free kick, I think. Yep, free kick to
the Devils.
The Devils.
Actually, the controlling umpire was out of position then. Lucky he had a mate that actually saw that.
Well, that was the thing. I was looking at the umpire and he seemed to be quite a distance away, but he's...
Well, he wasn't the controlling umpire.
No.
That was the thing, Brett.
All right, so it's going to be a shot on goal. It's going to be a long shot on goal at that for Beams. I wonder if he's got the distance. He'll be kicking from about... Who's the man on the mark? Just inside 50, so he's going to be kicking from about 52, but I tell you what, he hasn't got it too badly, but it's going to come up a little bit short. Mark almost taken on the goal line there, but not quite. Smith went for it. Now the ball comes out. And a good strong goal, good tackle with Lucas it was. He met the Wantirna South player over there front on and hit him pretty hard too, and the umpire says we'll have the ball up.
As Wantirna South have just tired a little bit in the last couple of minutes, Mitchum have just upped the intensity here, and they're back in the contest.
So back into the corridor for the Devils though, and it's been paid a mark, which is surprising to the Tigers players who seem to think it was touched off the boot.
Yeah, the way
and it definitely was on the replay screen, but
100%.
Hopefully for the Devils' sake, I think it's the man there in Jared Smith can take their opportunity here in front of goal. He's had a bit of an impact early, Brash, without really hitting his straps yet.
No,
but he comes in from 20 metres out on a slight angle, and he's put this one out to the right. So the Devils are struggling with that cross breeze, which has picked up a bit in recent times, and they now go to 2-6-18. They lead by 5 points, and we're 2 or 3 minutes into time on in this first quarter of season 2021, and well, you could say justice was served there, Brush, because that was definitely not touched off the hand, but
you'd almost think it's almost left-hand goal post out there.
Yeah, exactly, and we saw Matthew Gordon at the other end do it quite well. So Zach Carroll will take his full measure and bring it out of defence, and he'll go towards Will Gordon. Jake Dean's dropped the mark out there, but he would have got a shove, and he is going to get a free kick. It wasn't Jake Dean's, apologies, it was David Lang. But Deans has probably won the battle around the grounds against Will Gordon. Might have him covered by foot. As Lang plays on, takes his measure again and goes along to the hot spot. Beams is the man he's looking for. It won't get there with the breeze, and it's spoiled away nicely by Brooks on debut for the Tigers, crossing over from AFL Outer East side Yarra Junction in the off-season. And it's a boundary throw in deep inside the Devils' 50.
I've just noticed with Wantirna South, they've moved away from what they were doing well early, chipping the ball around.
Yeah.
So, ball to come back into play. We're 23 and a half minutes into this first quarter, so well into time on. The palm down there from Brooks on the hands of McComb. McComb goes down the line. Can he hit a target? There's some tall men there. Up they fly. It was Beams again, who's been pretty good in this first quarter. That's Rudd with the ball now, but he's well and truly wrapped up, and there's no chance of it coming out there. So
he's worked really hard in his first quarter, Beams.
Yeah, I agree, and considering all the talk about Jack O'Keefe adding goals, Nick Beams has been very good as a tall timber.
He's been terrific. It was Wantirna South, I think Beams it was, or Deans at least, he got the tap that time, and it's gone back into the contested situation, and we'll have another ball up. So a bit of a stalemate, 24 minutes gone, so it'll be interesting to see how much time on we have in this first quarter. Palm down there by Mitchum. And again, another tackle made, and we'll have ball up number 3, I think, in this period of play.
Gossip a bit lucky there, Brash. I reckon he took a couple of steps there.
Yeah, it's always this prior opportunity. It's really hard sometimes for the umpire to judge it.
So Brooks it was, but once again, it's going to go over the boundary line, and we just can't get away from this little stalemate.
I almost feel like, Manny, if you're prepared to take the player on and you don't get a clean disposal, it's got to be awarded a free kick to the opposition.
Yeah, that was my thinking there, but umpire was friendly to him. Brooks goes up in the ruck for the Tigers, wins it down. That one might have been a bit high on Nicholas. Nothing doing, says the umpire. Might have been blindsided there.
I think Mitchum will be really happy the way this quarter's actually played out for him in the last 5 minutes.
Considering the dominance of the Devils early on, they didn't put them to the sword, and now only lead by 5 points as it's pinballing around in there. Crikis tried to roll out of that tackle, and he's wrapped up. So, yeah, I agree with you there, Brush. The Tigers will be very happy to just lay these tackles and keep it clagged up. I think the Devils probably have the slight advantage with the wind as Crikes tries to get away from the men there just in front of goal. He will eventually get a snapback goal, and he likes that one off the boot. He's finally hit one through the big sticks, James Crikes. He's got his first goal as a Devil, and they're 3-6-24 and just get a probably well-deserved 11-point buffer, Brash.
It's almost like they needed to kick that goal to vindicate the dominance they've had in this first quarter.
Definitely.
Like I said, I just thought over the last 10 minutes, Wantirna South have actually diverted away from the play, from their run and gun type play, and started falling into bad habits of trying to bomb the ball in hope that Beams could take a big grab. That was what got them in their scores early, was the fact that they were moving the ball into the forward line with purpose, linking players together.
I'm sure that'll be the message from one of the messages from Steve Cochrane. It's quarter time as the umpire brings the ball back to the middle. We're now 26 minutes gone as we get the restart. Margin is 11 points. It's basically a 2-goal game as it's one out of the middle by Deans. Knocked down, but it's going forward inside 50. Can someone get on the end of it? And they can't, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds in the left forward pocket.
Actually, not a bad play from Mitchum there, really towards the end of the quarter. You're better off going for broke like that, Matty.
Oh, absolutely.
So what Mitchum wouldn't give to pinch a late goal here as the ball comes in from the umpire, working his way there to the front spot. There's the big Mitchum man on the ground there. Lucas Barton Smith it was, he's looking for the ball, but it's been wrapped up on the ground, and the umpire says we'll have another ball up.
Lachlan Ryan was the one who got that centre clearance you're talking about, Brush. He's a big inclusion, won their 2017 best and fairest, and yeah, he's looking pretty lively around the ball, but hasn't quite got his levels up with the foot skills as of yet.
Barton Smith trying to ferret his way through there, but again it's all tight. Wantirna South just trying to hang on here. They'll be quite happy to go into the break with this 11-point lead. Up it goes again. There's the man Gordon getting the tap down for Mitchum this time. Wong got it out. He's been sensational in this first quarter. Quick hands, but it's not going to, may well come back, but in fact it's going to be hacked out towards the boundary. And across the boundary as the siren goes in the end of the first quarter. Pretty interesting first quarter for the season. It's Wantirna South in front by 24, 3-6-24 to 2-1-13 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. All ahead of us in the second quarter, boys.
Absolutely, Besto. Great start there for the Devils, Brash. They will probably rue the missed opportunities, but let's see what they've got in store for us in the second quarter. We're going to head off to a break, and on the other side of it, it's the second quarter of this Division 1 clash between the Mitchum Tigers and the Wantirna South Devils.
Contrasting game style here by Wantirna South early. The fact that they were winning winning the midfield to Deans in the ruck, and they were able to clear the ball through the likes of Wong and Caney, and that was hitting up their forward line, and they were moving the ball into position and kicking the ball with purpose. For Mitchum, it was basically a matter they were treading water there for a few minutes, trying to stop the onslaught, so to speak. But I reckon around the 20-minute mark of that quarter, I think Wantirna South strayed away from their game plan, and I'm just wondering whether it could possibly be fatigue-wise.
Yeah, fatigue, or perhaps they were probably thinking with the win, they were running the game besto, that maybe they thought, we're going to try and take advantage of our dominance. So that might have been an issue too, but I do agree that last 10 minutes the Tigers will be a lot happier with that. So,
the second quarter will be important for Wantirna South because...
Cross down.
Oh, here we go. We've got some action down on the boundary line. Brash, Steve White and Ryan Long.
That's all right. I thought I'd been declared a mute for the first quarter, but anyway, just a bit of news out of the Mitchum huddle. Neil Winterton was pretty happy with the first quarter's performance. Just said to get the ball in deeper. That's when we're putting the pressure on the Wantirna South forwards. And just an injury update from that first quarter. Hamish McGowan's back on the ground. Took a bit of a knock above his eyebrow. Thought he needed stitches, but they managed to close the wound.
That's good to hear for Hamish. And Ryan, what about you from the Wantirna South huddle, mate? Did you hear anything from the coaching staff there?
Yeah, Steve Cochran was very happy with the performance so far. Very happy with the intensity, the pressure that they've been able to put on Mitchum so far, and they've just wanted to focus more on the composure when they've had the ball and look for quick hands more often. But otherwise than that, he was very happy with the start to the season.
Well, just a couple of observations, Brash. You were clearly on a direct link down to Steve Cochran there, and Lincoln Wong is one of those men with fast hands. He's been absolutely live wire so far this quarter, starting many in attack. Besto, take us away.
So second quarter about to get underway. Second quarter about to get underway. Knocked down there, and it's going in there. I think it's McComb with the ball. He's had a fantastic first quarter. Takes the ball, but he can't get rid of it. The umpire will have a secondary ball up. Up it goes. Walker's in there too. He's had a pretty good game. Mitchum managed to get it out of trouble. Little kick forward inside 50. Can they hit the target? Something that beautiful mark taken there. Fantastic stuff by Oakley, getting his hands up and taking a excellent mark. The kick's not so good though, and it's out towards the boundary. Wong is there, but he can't keep it in.
It was really good play by Mitchum there. They did keep the ball low, but they also started to run. That was a really good centre clearance there by Carroll. Found the open half forward, and they just didn't execute.
So thrown in, Will Gordon rings it down, but Robin McComb's there first. Cherry is maybe taken high, and he is. He's going to get a free kick. Penalising against Hamish McGowan, that man with the stitches. Handball's off immediately to Carroll. He puts it to the hot spot. Brash's favourite place in the world. Willang misread it, comes out the back door for the Devils, and they might be out here. This kick, will it sit for O'Keefe? It won't. It brought Uran back into it, but picking it up and taking away was Caney. His wobbling ball was towards Crikis, and then getting a shove in the back there is Luke Grimer. So the Devils probably rushed.
That was very lucky, that free kick.
But they definitely had the run on. So Grimer, leading goal kicker in 2019, which is 17, wobbles 1-4. Geez, the boys have had a big layoff from the footy, the kicking skills. Wallace got the handball out to Crikos, who wheeled onto the left, but there's been a free kick for a throw. As that one bounces through for a behind, and the free kick will go to the Red Mist, Lachlan Rudd.
He's played well, Lachlan Rudd, so far. He's been one of Mitchum's better players. So margin still 11 points, just early days in the second quarter. Now here they come, Mitchum, as they try to work it out. It's a kick down to about half back, should I say. Now they go down the wing. Oh, I dropped over there. Should have been taken, that mark. Disappointing for Smythe. He got his hands to it, but he just couldn't control it, and it's over the boundary line.
And skill execution's been the order of the day, Brash, and that's to be expected after
we were
such a long
expecting this.
So up it goes. Deans it was. He got the tap down for Wantirna South into the heavy stuff, and the umpire has blown the whistle. And we'll have...
It's going to take quite a few weeks for the skill levels to get up to a level that a lot of coaches are going to be happy with.
Well, particularly with the 12 months off. As the ball comes out, McComb went without it.
I was just going to say, Matty, umpiring numbers this year pretty good from what you've heard?
Yeah, they're holding. We've got a lot of junior umpires, so we're looking to push them through as the season progresses. But the Tigers get it away with Carroll. He's bombed it towards half back, but it looks like it's David Lang once again back there. He looks to be just zoning off. Chips it into the middle to Wong. He's been best on ground by a mile for mine personally. He takes a couple of steps and then goes long inside forward 50. That man beams again, brought it to ground. Crikis, Crummers, left foot snap, hits the post.
He was in the perfect. That's the perfect position that you want to see.
Wheeled, didn't he, Brash and Besto? That was the best piece of footy we've seen in 18 months.
But that's where you want him, front and square. He's just thrown you under a bus too, Brett.
They kick innocent ball. I'm going home, not putting up with this. Barton Smith had it from the ball's back into the contest, and the umpire says we'll ball it up.
Well, it was. It was beautiful play. That was the best foot skills we've seen. Lincoln Wong, your man, Besto.
He's having a fantastic game. I told you he would as the ball comes out now, and here they come. A bit of run now for Mitchum. Down the outside, it's Walker with the... I think it was Walker. It was... I'm not sure who that was anyway, but it was Wantirna South who have now got the football.
Down to Steve White on the boundary line.
Yeah, just a couple of jumper changes for Mitchum. Hayden McLean is now wearing 43 instead of 42, and David McArdle is out there in number 23.
Thank you, Ryan. So the Tigers with Brooks gives the handball off, and then just trying to step around a couple there with the Tigers defenders. They've butchered this. I think there's going to be a free kick off the ball, and it's going to the Devils for below the knees. And it's going to be Crikis once again here, Brash. He's kicked 1 goal 2 today. He's been
a real danger forward. James Crikis,
yes.
He's got great football smarts. He just knows where
He's always handed it off to Freeman, who's given it a big hoof from 48, and it's just floated to the pocket, and the red mist spoils it, and it's going to stay in place. Sorry for cutting you off there, Brash.
That's all right.
Joseph got the handball over the top to Winston. He wants a man again. He gives it off to Rudd. He gives it back to Winston. Winston dropped the footy. Can't yell at anyone. He's the coach. Rudd got the handball over the top. He's looking for Nicholas, but the boundary line beats them all, Besto. And we're going to have a boundary throw in. Brash, continue about James Crikis.
He plays that forward position very well. He is a smart footballer, knows when to go front and square, but also knows how to create that loose man.
So umpire to throw it in on the far side of the ground. Up go the rucks, and it's Gordon in there getting the tap down, but it's come away nicely, and it's roved by Crikis. He's been very, very good. He goes to about full forward, but a great mark taken in there, fantastic defensive mark, and Mitchum will be able to rebound. I think it was Horsey, in fact it was Glossop, he took it, and now Mitchum will just steadily bring the ball forward out of the back line. That's Uren taking the ball around about half-back flank. Taking his time to get rid of a bit of a dodgy handball, but it worked out as Carroll gets it. Carroll puts the boot to it down the line, but it's been cut off as... No, it's still on the ground there. They're still contesting it. Mitchum trying to get it back. Good work on the ground there by Mitchum player. It was Cherry, one of the late changes, and the umpire will throw it up again. So it's a 12-point margin, so basically it's a 2-goal game. Dean's wrestling with Gordon in the ruck. Might have been Gordon's ball on that occasion as it comes out, but it's fallen for Wantirna South. Mendes gets it down the line. Can they get a mark? There's a big, tall man down there. That's one of the Beams going at it with Rudd, but he couldn't quite take the mark, and the ball is over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
Both sides have fallen into the trap of trying to bomb the ball long into each respective forward lines, and it's making it real ugly play at the moment.
Yeah, it is in that breeze. As our audio man Bruce Press said off air, that kicking it high and the wind's taking control. And speaking of kicking high, it's Wong again. He got the ball spinning right. It's to a dangerous spot. Brooks with a good fist. Joseph handball off to Glossop. Handball out wide to Carroll. A little sit up for him on the second bounce. Takes a few metres, and then low drilling ball into the corridor was a shocker. Picking it up there was Jared Smith. Got the handball off. Devils under pressure. It'll work out for Marrow. Winston left it behind. The ruckman Gordon got it back, and then they just slam it on the boot with Barton Smith, looking for the man inside 450 and Perzaz, and then just watching it over the boundary line. Oh, young Blake Walker there might have got a little shove. He will get rewarded. He's been shoved into the fence there, and it'll be a free kick to the Devils in their left back pocket.
Does he get 4 runs going into the fence?
Well, hopefully for him he'll have 4 points at the end of the day.
So Wantirna South to bring it out.
Gee, that wind's just sprung up.
Just a little gust just blowing up there. I could hear some rattling, and I think that's a terrible kick. It's gone out of bounds, but we will blame the wind because
I was about to say
that has dragged the ball out of the ground.
You can see the trees on the far side, and they've really sprung up. That breeze has come out of nowhere, so that's going to make things even trickier.
Tigers will have to make the most of it now, Brash, won't they? And it just comes back to the comment, they're almost better off kicking a grubber than they are kicking it up in the air, because it's just going to be too hard for someone to read it. Definitely
pointless exercise. So Carroll with the football, just looking around for someone to kick to. Now he goes forward to about half forward.
See,
looking
that's
for a
just
tap. In fact, he's gone into the
Boundary.
pocket and it's out of bounds. But we'll go boundary side with Steve White.
Yeah, just with the breeze at the moment, the ball is just hanging on that far side of the ground, so they're going to have to start trying to switch the ball if there any chance of scoring here.
Apologies, that was Ryan on that occasion.
Yeah, you're right down there, Ryan. As the ball comes inboard for the Tigers, little handball over the top. Sold his man into trouble there. Absolutely laid out.
Good tackle though.
Callum Mendes was met by Lachlan Milne, and he looks like he's a nice strapping young man. He's going to line up from about 45 out directly in front. There was, to be honest, there wasn't much he could do there, Mendes, but it was a good tackle.
Well, sometimes the prior opportunity just wasn't there, and it wasn't there then.
No, but I think it was the impact of the tackle that
Left to right,
created
left goalpost here, you need to go.
almost the behind post as Milne from 48 metres out puts it high in the air. It's heading for that pocket once again. Under the footy is a number of players. They all miss it, and we're going to have a boundary throw in deep in the Tigers forward line. They are 2-1-13. The Devils are 3-7-25, and it's 9 minutes gone in this second quarter. The wind is... those trees...
they're swaying.
They are swaying.
That umbrella on the far side, I think, could
Crash
be...
on a Saturday night, isn't it? Throw in. No one got hands to it. McGowan with the man who had a right eye injury earlier in the quarter. Handball around from Greg. Gave it off to Wallace, who gave the handball further back, and they kick it high out of defence. Milne did well to get a hand to it. And then the red mist Rudd with the left foot ball to the top of the square. Gordon's backing back. Can he bring it down? He can't. Kaney's there. Goes to rush behind. Freeman on the last line of defence. Low spearing ball. Will it stay in play for his teammate? No, it won't, but he's done enough for it to be a boundary throw in 9.5 minutes gone in this second quarter. We're in Mitchum's forward 50. They trail by 12 points.
Well, one of the tents has lost its roof, so...
I think family day's off.
Yes, the family day's been officially cancelled as the ball comes in. Gordon is there. Ruckman, in fact, fall over the top of each other, and it's going in there and taking it nicely was Deans. And it's on the ground, and we'll have a ball up. Good hard tackle coming in there from McGowan on the grounds.
The wind's not even an advantage.
No.
It's too strong.
It's just blowing all over the place, really. Gordon, the tap down for Mitchum, and they win it nicely through Uren. Uren turns around, goes infield. Can he hit a target? Yes, he can. It was a bit of a dangerous kick, but well done there by McArdle. And he will go back and line up.
That was a beautiful kick from Jesse Smith, wasn't it, Brash? He could have easily just kept running and tried the miracle goal with the wind, which would have been on the run even harder than a set shot, but he
played the
his
percentages,
eyes,
yeah,
thought it
definitely.
out, and now his teammate's got a shot directly in front.
So let's see how he goes. It's on its way. Let's watch the umpire, but this one looks to be heading to the other side.
He's defied it.
So many of the kicks have been going right, but on that occasion we've missed to the left. It's
Boundary.
3-4 behind us. We go boundary side with Steve White.
Yeah, thanks. The wind has actually changed direction from east to west, so I'm going to make sure not to change my facial expression for the next 5 minutes or so.
Yep. He's stuck like that for a long, long time as Caney brings it out of defence. That's a long ball into the breeze. It's Mitchum on top here. Winston leads the chase. The boundary line will win out, though, in front of the Cheesecake Shop signs, and we'll have a ball in. 11 minutes gone. Mitchum 2-2-14. Wantirna South 3-7-25. Second quarter.
In fact, I think Neil Winston will be extremely happy with the way this game's panning out at the moment.
And there's a player down behind the ball here. The trainers are out looking at Luke Grimer. He's feeling his back.
His lower back, yeah, looks
there
like.
There was obviously a marking contest from that Brooke Caney kick out. We might get the replay here. Lee Green once again, the magician. So Caney long down the line. Yeah, it was Matthew Gordon got his knee in the back, and then he landed quite heavily, Luke Grimer, on his back. So I'm hoping it's nothing too serious, but it was quite a fall, and the surface would be still pretty firm after a pretty warm couple of weeks leading into the season. Brash, while we've got a bit of a pause, mate, what have you noticed so far in this quarter that's taken your eye?
Well, I just think that both sides have been forced into a game that they don't want to play because the prevailing conditions outside is making it near impossible to play clean football.
It is. So Grimer's coming off clutching his ribs. I'm sure Ryan and Steve will have a look at that as Smythe whacks it on the boot. It's going to float towards that pocket once again. In the front spot, taking the mark is Brooke Caney. That's a wonderful mark there in a pack of 5, and he hands it off to Wallace, who kept running, and that handball's a dangerous one, but it found its man. He goes along up the line. Glossop's there, coming out the back though was Beams. He just appeared off the bench and takes the mark on left half back. Kicked a goal already this afternoon. Wobbles one. It's all Tigers. Rudd takes the mark despite his teammate Jesse Uran's best efforts to distract him, and he switches the play dangerously. Deans is the man there for the Devils, but it got through to Nicholas, who plays on. Short ball to Smythe. He's got Nicholas again for the hands, ignored him, and then he's got the runner outside in Joseph, ignored both, and then goes with the stabbing ball to McArdle, missed him. Good intercept from the Devils. Cherry's there, he's going to try and lock it in, got his hand away, and then good handballs even further, and ends up with Nicholas. Wobbling ball towards Pizzazz. And it's spoiled out of bounds there by Oakley.
Boundary.
Have a ball in. Steve White.
Yeah, just having a look at Luke Grime, man, clutching his lower right back and his ribs. I'm not sure if he'll be back this quarter, but got away with a bit of a 19 men on the ground situation there, did Wantirna South.
Every advantage counts.
That was well observed, Whitey.
So the ball comes in. It was won by Mitchum from the stoppage, but the umpire's whistle goes, and we'll come back. So we've got we've played about 13 and a half minutes in this quarter. The margin's still 11 points, so it's still anyone's game. Still a lot of feeling out. You get the impression as the ball goes in. Dean's wrestling with Gordon, and the ball comes out though for back in the hands of Dean's. In fact, now it's in the hands now of Walker. And they've all good strong tackle over there, but it spills clear, and here's Wantirna South trying to work it down the flank. And that's a good handball, an overlapping handball. Two of them, in fact, overlapping handballs, but that's gone astray, and it'll be cut off by Uran. He thumps it down the line. They've got a little bit too much on that one, and it's out of bounds on the far side. Looking promising, that was.
When they get a chance to run the ball, Wantirna South, they look a much better side than what Mitchum are. If they can get the game on those terms, they're right in it again.
So it's Nicholas Mendes here on right half back for the Devils. They are, you're correct, Brush, they do look the better moving the ball, but that wind again is wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
McLean took it on the bounce, the big ruckman. He can't be pinged there. Oh, he's been pinged. That's very harsh on the big ruckman. He did well to get down that low, but the free kick will be taken nonetheless, this time by Brent Walker. Goes short out wide. He's got Freeman, who's floated forward onto the Mitchum logo, the left footer. He'll want to go and swing around onto it. He does, and he goes with an attempted torp that ends up in a wobbly old punt. Brooks came through, dropped the mark. McCombs there, did well. Brooks got his hands to it. McLean, the ruckman, doesn't take the footy this time. The red missed. Step back into traffic. Got the handball away. Crikers, your man again, Brash. Got the handball off there to Mendes. Callum. Handballed off to Deans. Jake. Gave it off to the runner McGowan. Good smother. Came out of nowhere there. And Horsey did really well, and now McArdle's got it for the Tigers, gave it to his coach in Winton, and he's wrapped up. How did he dispose of it? There's a whistle, and it'll be holding the ball. The free kick coming all the way back to McGowan, whose kick was smothered before. It was a goal-saving smother. Might have even been Marrow. Apologies. And McGowan's going to have it about 65 out from his goal. He's definitely not within range, best hope.
No,
he's got a chance to hit a target.
Absolutely. So Mitchum was something to get excited about. In fact, Wantirna South, should I say, something to get excited about. Here's McGowan with the ball. Has he got the confidence to go? No, he just puts it up in the air looking for the tall men. Deans is there. Can they get a mark? It spills to ground. It should be, just for a moment there, it was Crikers that got the kick in. It looked like he might have had it, but just spoiled at the crucial moment, and the ball's gone out of bounds in that forward pocket.
I think he was trying something there, James Crikers.
Yeah, funny little kick, wasn't it? But
yeah.
He's been good, James Crikers, one of the better Wantirna South players this afternoon. Here's the ball in, wrestling with it, the rucks, but again it's falling into a contested situation. Good strong tackle there. It was Crom who got the possession, but it's come out for Mitchum, but it's coming back. Here's the kick inside 50. Can they get a mark this time? It's a bit of an aimless kick, and in fact, still in play over there on the far side.
Well, he paid the mark, yep.
No eyes on the footy, I believe.
And free kick by the looks. Carroll with the football for Mitchum.
So right back pocket. Now they want to switch, you'd suggest, Brash, but they haven't got the opportunity.
No.
So it goes down the line. Good little hand on it there by Uren, or Cherry, sorry. Just got it over the back, and then they'll just force it further forward. Damon Oakley got beaten by the bounce, and then Matt Gordon got rid of Jackson Freeman. He's hot. The big fella lines them up and kicks the goal. It's his second, Brash. And once again, the Tigers go end-to-end against the play and kick their third. 3-2-20. Big Matty Gordon just got rid of Jackson Freeman with ease and then lowered the eyes.
Unfortunately for Wantirna South, too many of their players overcommitted there and were caught too far past the Desco boundary side.
Yeah, that was a really important goal for Mitchum there. They've probably dominated the last 10 to 15 minutes, so needed to kick one to use the advantage that they've had.
Yeah, they went boundaries. They went too far up the ground, Wantirna South, and they left themselves exposed. Gordon got out and kicked a beautiful goal really, because he took note of the conditions.
Well, they just forced the ball forward
Yeah.
there too. Just a couple of quick kicks, which I'm sure wasn't part of what they're training, but nonetheless, it worked out for him as McGowan got the centre clearance for the Devils, slapped it on the left boot, and then Wallace picked it up, handball off to O'Keefe, gave it off to Jake Deans, the big captain, the ruckman, smothered kick, Glossop, his opposite captain, got the handball away, did he, on the Deans tackle, comes out the back to Beams, immediate reply. He's got his second, and the two big men at either end are going head-to-head, Besto. It's 4-7-31, the Devils, Mitchum 3-2-20, and this quarter's come to life 18 minutes in.
Yeah, the game's finally opened up as we thought it might once that initial filling out period. Just wanted to go back to the Gordon goal, boys. I think they have to be contender for the Tobin Brothers goal of the day today.
Yeah,
Well, absolutely. Even the Sportscope Player of the Day, we've haven't been treated to many yet, but
No,
it was
not
up
yet.
there. Good observation, Besto.
Okay, back in the middle. So what a game this is turning into. It's a bit slow to get going, but it's really livened up in the last 10 minutes anyway. Just waiting for the umpire. It's 11 points in favour of the Wantirna South side. Up it goes. No, in fact, it falls for Gordon. Deans was there, but Gordon, the ball sort of fell in his favour. Now it's come out for Mendes. Now they go forward again. Wantirna South. Good little period this, but a great mark taken by Urin. And he will just steady it down and look for a target. Just chips it across to the half-back line to West. Still looking for... can't be much movement up forward. There's a lot of hesitation with the kicks forward. It could be the win. Now West sends it long to about half forward. They fly, but it goes right over the back. Freeman's in there, but he can't get to it. Now it's on the ground again, and the umpire says we'll have a ball up. So... a little bit shell-shocked maybe the Mitchum side with this little burst from Wantirna South, but they've got a chance to put it right as the ball goes up in the air. Deans the tap. Wong got his kick charge down. It falls away for Wantirna South.
gone.
That will be ball, you would think, or just wait for... No, in fact, it's come out.
Oh, throw now.
And now he's paid a throw, the umpire.
It might have been a level up.
He was out of position badly there, but
So Will Gordon gave the handball off immediately to Lockie Ryan. He lines up from 50. He sends it towards goal. It won't get there. Last line. Great mark taken by Lucas Marrow, the little fella. He just got rid of Blake Walker, used his body very cleverly. And he'll line up from a very tight angle with this breeze. Who knows what's going to happen. He's going to go the drop pump by looks of it. Plays on, steadies it, check sides it, goal. And in the last 3 minutes, we've had 3 goals out of nothing. Lucas Marrow gets his first of the season. The Tigers get their fourth of the game. They're 4-2-26. Wantirna South 4-7-31. Just ticking into time on in the second quarter.
the one thing you'll say about Mitchum is they hang in there, they hang in there, and they hang in there, and they're always still there around that 20-minute mark of the quarter, and they just seem to be able, Matty, to lift to another cog. And may not necessarily mean scoreboard pressure, but pressure on the ball carrier of the opposition.
Yeah, I think they're settling in a lot better now in this second quarter.
So Rucks go at it. Gordon with an uncontested tap, but the umpire says no. We'll have a...
Well, should he have called that back? Because it didn't leave the circle. It just didn't get up in the air.
Yeah, it should have just been play on. That's just being a little bit pedantic. Obviously, the umpire wants to get it right, but we want an open game as well.
Well, the Tigers would be annoyed because they were away.
Exactly. Now it goes up again. And Gordon and Deans. Might have been Deans actually, but it's fallen for Mitchum into the contest. The ball bouncing around all over the place. Now it goes inside 50. Who's there to get on the end of it? Ball spills clear, and it's Freeman who gets it. Little ball away into the into the back pocket. And a kick from Gordon, and the mark is taken across here. So here's an opportunity now for Mitchum late in this quarter.
I think it's Jesse Cherry. Copped one to the face too after that mark.
Jesse Cherry. This will take him...
I don't think he can make the distance with this breeze. You don't know where to kick it.
He'd be going...
It's a lottery. I think you just got to strike it and hope for the best. If he does get it through, it's going to be a little bit fluky.
They're going to lose their Division 2 flag.
Go to the hot spot.
From Cherry.
Whoa.
It's a strange old kick, and it's been marked by Wantirna South, and they will get it out.
Actually, that was a fair mark then.
Yeah, that was a nice slip catch,
down around
wasn't
his
it?
ankles, yeah.
Because that donkey dropped right on him.
Well, it was a donkey kick. So Damon Oakley, he pumps it high and holds in the breeze. Big fly from everywhere. Carroll came from the side, and then in the end, the ball has a mind of its own and wanders over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in. 5 points the difference. The Tigers have won this quarter. They've kicked
Haven't
2
heard the
goals to
term
1.
donkey drop for about 100 years.
Wow.
It's an oldie.
Brash has been watching a lot of local cricket. He's seen a few of them.
Might have been watching some of your games, Matty.
Well, maybe. Thrown in. Deans and Gordon in the ruck. Gordon got the tap down. Wong's around it. Had to do his own work, Gordon, but then forcing it forward there through McComb, sorry. Wallace is there, slapped it back. Carroll followed up, good work. Wallace gets it again, but he's got the red mist hunting him down.
Actually, I reckon he's Mitchum's best player at the moment, the red mist.
Rock and right, he does a fantastic
He
job.
does. He's no frills, but he gets that job done.
And as we mentioned in pre-game, Dylan Brooks' addition will actually give him a bit more freedom to not only lock down the opposition, but provide some attacking threat.
So the ball comes in, Deans gets the tap down. Either that wind's got very strong or we've got tap downs on the roof, because the roof is Fenningham rocking. And we'll have a ball up. We've played 22 and a half minutes in this second quarter. It's a 5-point game, so it's less than a goal in favour of Wantirna South. Gordon gets it out of the ruck. Remember the new rule this year, you can take it out of the ruck without the tap down. Great tackle by Wong, but no prior, and we'll have a ball up.
And on the other side of the coin, Brush, Lincoln Wong still... Crikis has been good, but I still think Lincoln Wong's been the Devil's best player.
100%. So Deans with a tap towards the boundary line, and it will go straight back out.
You can see why he was in their best 13 times out of 18 games last year.
He's so good around the ruckman's feet, and then, like I said, his handball, his knowledge of space is very good. And he's got those bright green boots as well, which make it a bit easier to notice him as the wind takes the ball towards the Tigers' goal. And I think that's again a bit pedantic. I think you got, as you were saying, Best, though, with these conditions, I think
you got to
make a bit of allowance. Yep.
Anything that enters the field of play is a pretty good throw. So we're going to go again. Half forward for the Devils, who lead by 5 points, but the Tigers have kicked 2 of the last 3.
What was the difference there between that throw and the last?
I don't know, but it's knocked forward. Caney was there, coming through now. Are the Devils that kicks a poor one off the boot, but it'll work out okay as Caney breaks the lines and looks towards centre forward. Good strong mark taken by O'Keefe. He's been relatively quiet. He's got a man in the pocket. It's Wallace, and the kick's just out of reach, but he keeps it in play. Handballs over his head, looking for Smith, and it'll go outside for a boundary throw-in.
I reckon there'd only be another minute or so left in the quarter, gents.
Well, those late goals might extend it a little bit, but we are ticking into the 25th minute now as it's thrown in. Apologies. Deans and Gordon once again go at it. Deans got the fist. Glossop's there just whacking on the boot. Gathered by Jared Smith. His handball was intercepted. And then Cherry whacks it towards the wing. Matt Gordon's there. He's got Freeman and Lang to beat. And Lang did well to mark the space and then gives it off to Freeman. Freeman steps onto his left. Gave the fend off to Marrow. And then got around Gordon, but his kick's a direct turnover. And it's gone straight to Zach Horsey. He's got West out wide, but he chooses to go shorter still to Uren. Uren's got... I thought they had a chance to rebound there, Brash, but...
They didn't.
That's probably why I'm not coaching. He goes towards Joseph, who's got a bit of space, and he takes the mark. That's a good kick from Uren. A very good kick. He's got Cherry in the middle, ignores him. Goes longer still. Who does he want? Marrow's the small target. Pizzaz's front spot. Ball out the back. Marrow wants a free kick. He keeps it in front of him. Stockers it towards goal. Pizzaz off the ground. He's missed.
Yeah, I think Marrow was a bit stiff there, boys. I thought that was holding.
Played for it though, didn't he? So, but 4-3-27 the Tigers. Wantirna South 4-7-31. Yeah,
maybe not.
Best, though,
maybe
better play from the Tigers, Brash. That was the skills they're probably looking for.
Yeah. In fact, really, the win really has spoilt the skill factor in this game even more than what it. Yeah.
So Freeman with a long kick, and he gets plenty of purchase rudders there, and he takes a great mark. Mark, in fact, not paid, and he's taken over he must have been touched, I think, before he got possession of it. He's had a fantastic first half, as Rudd. As we mentioned, probably Mitchum's best player. Up it goes. Dean's getting his beams, at least trying to get hands to the ball, and a free kick is paid. So here's an opportunity for Mitchum, one of the last chances of this half. If they could get a late goal here and get the lead, they would be pretty happy, I would say, with the situation as they go inside 50, and they just need to get a mark from someone. Up they fly, knocked away there by Deans. He's been good in this first half. They kick down the line to no one in particular, and it's going to go out of bounds. With the wind over there, just getting hold of it and just whipping it straight out of bounds. Very, very difficult.
I think if you've got to attack, you've got to play this commentary side, don't you? Because we saw when the Tigers before, Uren was able to pinpoint a pass. Joseph was able to get a kick with some purchase. And as you've seen there, Besto, anytime someone's kicked it out that side, it's just not even...
The wind's just going to take it.
It's just going across the ground that way as the Tigers exit the contest there. But a direct turnover from Cherry to Brooke Caney, who's had a bit of the ball. Oh, sorry, that's not Caney. That is Caney, apologies. Yep. He's had a bit of the ball in this latter stage of the second quarter. Goes the defensive side. That's, well, the thing is though, there you can blame two people there, Brash. You can blame Caney for kicking it that close to the boundary line, but Beams is standing on the boundary line when the breeze is going to take that onto the
it's not good game sense, is it?
I don't think that was a very smart option. Full stop.
But
why are you kicking to the boundary line?
I know. Well, you would have thought the Devils would want to try and get another score on the board. They're only 4-point leaders after, dominating that first quarter.
You'd want to be keeping the ball further away from the boundary line, knowing that the wind's going to carry it over.
Be brave, take on the corridor.
Exactly. That's what's been the modus operandi of all AFL sides this year is Carroll. This one's going to go out in the bounds of the full as well because, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me that both sides not learning from each other. And we'll go down to Steve White, who's got some more insight for us.
Yeah, Luke Grime is just warming up again down here on the sideline. Still looks really ginger, and I'm unsure if he'll come back for the third quarter, but we'll keep you updated.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, he'll have a nice long half-time break to get him sorted soon as we get into the dying stages. The kick forward and ball on the ground as they wrestle foot Rudds in there, as he has been in and under all day. And the umpire's whistle goes, so we're 27.5 minutes paid, and it's Wantirna South by 5.
If he's got a rib issue, that means he's having a breathing issue. That wouldn't be conducive for him to come back on the ground, I'm telling you that.
Not when it's howling wind either.
And there's Wong going to ground with the football. No, if you can't breathe, it tends to be a little bit detrimental to your chances of playing football.
General health.
Just living in general as the tap goes out from Beams, and that is the half-time siren, and certainly a second quarter that was much better than the first quarter, as you'd expect. Very much a filling out first quarter, but the second quarter's come alive, and at half-time it's the Devils by 4 against Mitchum out here at Walker Park.
Absolutely. So 4-3-27 the Tigers, Devils 4-7-31, couple of goal kickers across the ground, all singles. Lucas Marrow, Matthew Gordon, Thomas Lucas, and then for the Devils they've got Lachlan Gregg, James Crikis, and Nick Beams has 2. So back to the studios of SEN, and after this we'll have a little bit of a half-time show, and then we'll be back for the second half.
Business as usual for the third quarter. Yep. And coach the third quarter, and then as discussed, but yeah, walk you through that anyway. Yep. Depending on what we're
I felt early they had some opportunities inside 50. They got the ball in there, but they just couldn't get the mark. And I think probably what you were saying, Steve, about we talked about this in the first half. It's the first game of the season, and there was a fair bit of rust in that first quarter. But already the signs were good in that second quarter, and I think we're in for a good rest of the game because you could see that the players were starting to think, oh, this is how we play. It's like they'd forgotten how to play after not being out for so long. But agree with you with your better players, the likes of Wong. He was fantastic. Rudd's had a great game for Mitchum as well. He's battled hard back there, but I mean it's still anyone's game, and the conditions are obviously going to play a big part. The winds is swirling. We're told that there's could be some rain coming as well. So if that happens, it's going to turn into a bit of a lottery. But all things considered, I think we've got a pretty decent game on our hands here, and a very close one to call.
Yeah, just having a look at the radar, and there is a little bit of rain around, but I think it's just going to skirt past us, so we might be just observing some dark clouds rather than getting some rain. You've obviously both spoken about the side struggling to settle, being back into a new season of footy, but for Steve, for you, Mitchum, I thought they improved once they managed to hit their targets, which is an obvious statement. But for them, it's only the one tool inside the forward line. How would you change, if you're Neil Winston, what would you try to change in terms of their ball movement and their attack to hit the scoreboard more often? Because despite the fact they're only 4 points down, they probably haven't had as many opportunities as the Devils.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned before, as Neil Winston was saying, try to get it in deeper. As we talked about, the wind's making that very, very difficult, and the only one tool in there. I'd be going ground, probably trying to run the ball a bit more into the forward line.
Run and carry.
And probably trying to just not try to kick so far from outside the 45. You try and run it in, and probably towards this near side of the ground, because that far side of the ground, seems to be where the wind is concentrated. So, other than that, I actually think they're doing pretty well to hang in there with Wantirna South.
Oh, absolutely. They'd be over the moon with a 4-point deficit. So, and I think their plan will be just to keep it this tight as long as they can, and then hopefully overrun them in those last 5 minutes. Best of you, the Devils. They set up behind the ball really well in that first quarter, and they did a lot of intercept marking their defence. And there's just a couple of times, a few lapses in concentration where the Tigers have been able to get out the back. If you're Steve Cochran, what are you saying to the boys? How do you improve on what they've put out so far?
Oh, just concentration. I think it probably just comes down to the fact that there's still they haven't quite perhaps switched themselves on. The bit of rustiness, as we said, for the first game of the season. But Wantirna South, I mean, they'd be pretty happy. There was a little period in that, I think it was the second quarter, when Mitchum got the 2 quick goals, where obviously Steve Cochran would be a little bit concerned, but they've sort of regrouped now, and you feel that the game is, you kind of feel that it's on their terms, even though it's only 4 points. And I think it's Wantirna South who are probably going to the third quarter feeling a little bit better, but really it's anyone's game. And I think the side that plays the conditions, this wind, and the side that's more accurate and can hit their targets, because as we said, Mitchum missed a lot of targets in that first half, and if they can start hitting targets and keeping the ball, it's a waste of time bombing it in long. They're going to have to try and lower the eyes, maybe run and carry a bit more, and if they can do that, well then they're in this up to their eyeballs.
Lincoln Wong's been impressive, Steve, for the Devils. He gets his hands on the footy an awful lot.
Yep.
How do you think the Tigers can best stop him? Is it a case of someone going to him, or have they just got to be a bit more wary of him around the contest?
He just has such good spatial awareness around that stoppage. It's very difficult. Yeah, maybe the double team might be the way to go around the stoppages. I don't see anyone, but then you take him out of the equation. You've got Crikis and these guys, and Dean
as well.
Yep, and Deans and these guys running off the football as well. So I think he's going to be difficult to stop, but yeah, you're going to have to basically take time and space away from him. Otherwise, he's going to get out of the stoppage every time.
And then Besto, for you, the Tigers, we mentioned their midfield's probably been a collective effort. No one's really taken the game by the scruff of the neck, but in defence, Lachlan Rudd's been doing a great job.
Yeah, he has. It's probably quite difficult to single anyone out. I mean, I thought Jesse Smythe played pretty well in the first half for Mitchum, but apart from that, there's probably been no other standouts. Jesse Cherry had a fair game as well, but back at the, as we say, what did you call him? The red
mist.
The red mist. He's the boy, and he's had a fantastic game. So if they can sort of just get that rebound happening off half back, and he can get those intercept marks going and launch something forward, and Mitchum can get a bit more accuracy with their forward kicking, well then they're, as I say, they're right in this game.
Absolutely. So a few scores from around the grounds. We're going off Sports TG here, so not as many as we'd like, but Scoresby 4 goals up over Glen Waverley, so a welcome return to Division 3 for them. In Division 2, the Basin up by a couple of goals over the Jets, so maybe a slight ball over there. Mulgrave and South Belgrave are battling horns, and I think the Saints are up by a goal or two in there. No doubt blustery conditions out at Mulgrave, quite an open place, and Templeton struggling against Ringwood, who are 5 goals up. And then in Division 1, a couple of surprising results so far. East Ringwood 6-5 to Croydon 2-8. Lurdale 3 straight to Mirrabuk 2-2. Park Orchard 6-13 to Upper Gullies 2-1. And Montrose and Bayswater, it's actually now Montrose 4-6-30 to Bayswater 4-5-29. So the wind obviously playing havoc at all grounds.
Particularly that South Belgrave result, I would expect them to be up by a little bit more than that.
I think it's inaccurate kicking that's hurting them. Exactly. Other things, boys, that you've noticed, especially down the boundary line, Steve, the crowd coming back to footy. Obviously, the conditions haven't really
deterred anyone.
Well, they haven't deterred anyone, but it's probably meant that a few people are back deeper in the crowd rather than by the fence. But the atmosphere that Mitchum's always got great atmosphere. But what about today?
Great banter between the Wanty South faithful as well. No, everyone's into it. I think 18 months with no senior footy, as you and I both have been talking to a plethora of coaches and players before the season. Everyone's raring to go. Obviously, the skills still a few weeks, week 5, 6 before I think everyone gets firing. But no, I think everyone's just happy to be back.
Absolutely. And Besto, so far, Matt, what have you enjoyed most about being in the local footy community?
Just the enthusiasm. Like, you can just see that the fans are so happy for it to be back. I mean, something will happen and you can hear the roar of the crowd. Okay, it's not a huge crowd. I'm not talking about an MCG type roar, but a local football type. And you can just see, you hear the calls of ball, and just seeing the people, they're just happy to be back. And we're all happy to be back as well. It's just great to have local footy back.
Absolutely. And Steve, we didn't get your thoughts pre-game, mate, and Besto, both of you. We've had a look around the divisions, the around the ground scores and so on, and Damo and Wayne and I had a quick look at the other divisions and gave our thoughts on how we think things are going to shape up. But in terms of the divisions and your premiers and so on, what are you expecting? What are the things you can see, some shocks, or what do you expect coming out of 2021?
I didn't get my ladder into you in time, sorry mate, but no, look, I think for me, like, you're speaking to the coaches, Vermonts and all that are going to be there, and for me, I'm interested to see how South Belgrave go in Div 2 with Ringwood and Boronia. For me, that's the money division. That's going to be what Division 1 was last year, in my 2 cents. Then you've got Division 3 with South Belgrave out. You've got Waverley Blues and everyone else, and then potentially Warrandyte doing some recruiting in the off. So I'm actually just excited. Mainly those middle divisions, but then again, Premier Division, Norwood is another smoky as well.
Absolutely. Besto,
that's what I'm looking for. I think Norwood obviously have been fancied. I'm not quite sure what all the hype's been about, but some people can obviously see something there. They've obviously recruited quite well, and I'm looking forward to seeing Park Orchards and how they go too, because they're a really good side. They've obviously had a few player changes over the last 2 or 3 years. Jared Bayliss has moved on, 1 or 2 others. Folks has gone, but they seem to have recruited very well, and I think I'm right in saying Dennis
Armfield's coach, and Andreas Everett's joining him this year. He's crossed over from Yarraville.
And they Park Orchards play a really exciting brand of football, and they're a young team, and I just love the way they play. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can bring to the table this year.
They absolutely do. So the Wantirna South Devils are back on the field. The umpires are back out there. We've had our warning siren, so we're going to go to a break. And on the other side of this, it'll be the second half between the Tigers and the Devils from Walker Park.
All right. No, I'm good. I've got 3 on.
first stoppage after they come back on the break. Just a quick tidbit. Must have left your pen up there. It's actually my web pen. I probably should go get it.
Welcome back to Walker Park. We're underway on this third term, and it's a 4-point game at the moment. Wantirna South with a slight advantage. Plenty of wind around too, and once again the ball has found its way over to that far side of the ground where it spent a lot of time in the first half. Now the long kick down the line, but once again the wind just catches it. And boys, we've been talking why they're persisting to go down that line. It's almost a waste of time, isn't it? They've got to maybe try and go back through the corridor or switch the play.
Yeah, I think it's easier said than done. Obviously, we're in the cheap seats up here. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm sure that's what the coaches would have talked about, Brash.
Yeah, they would have.
Trying to open it up, but yeah, sometimes conditions just force you. As your man Deans gets in the front spot there. It's been a good battle. Deans has probably got Gordon around the ground, but I think Gordon really does his best work here in the contest. He's a bit of a stronger man around the core as Wong got the clearance around the body. Crikis read the flight of the ball best. Joseph got a shove in the back and then just slaps it over the line for a boundary throw in. Oh, he's giving it deliberate. And he seemed to really ponder that. We're going to see it on the replay screen. Crikis read it best. The bounce sat up. It is deliberate, but surely you're allowed to do that, Brash. Under pressure, the ball's in the air. He hasn't taken possession, but Crikis on the nice side for the left footer. He's going to run around, snap it around the body, and he's hit the belly of the ball. It's gone straight up in the air. Dropping the mark there was Nicholas, and then wrapped up the man in the tackle. And is it going to sit? There's a free kick for holding the man. And it's going to come back to Alexander Barton-Smith on his Tigers debut. He's had to wait 18 months for it, and the Tigers probably get away with it in the end, and they should have.
The Mitchum supporters would probably think there was a bit of poetic justice in that too.
And here we go, they're using the corridor. Barton-Smith, great kick to Cherry, gave it off to West, who went back into traffic. His handball was a turnover. McGowan, Wong, taken high, umpire says play on. Picking it up there, McComb, gave the fend off to Cherry, then gave it to Freeman and got it back, and then wheels out to the half-forward flank, and it's a good mark taken there by Zach Carroll.
Problem is with West, he didn't take the first option when it presented itself.
He had to go, didn't he?
So Carroll goes down the line, and Mitchum is looking to get themselves back and just quietly working way back into this third quarter. Now they go down the line again with another one of the long kicks up in the air on that far side of the ground, but dropped there by Gordon. He had it, but lost it. Now it's on the ground again. He's going in there trying to get it back a second time, but ripped away there by Deans. He's been terrific. McComb's on the ground, in and under, boundary. And we'll go boundary with Steve White.
Just an update on Luke Grimer. He's moving around again on the boundary, doing some stretches and walking around. It looks like he may come back on in the next 5 or so minutes.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Ryan. You guys both sound alike. So back into the contest again. Now they get it forward to a marking contest, bouncing around and picking it up nicely there was Smith. And bursting away with it. Here's a chance for Mitchum to go inside 50. The kick to fall forward. Can they get a mark? It was well done there. Obviously, Walker it was. He just knocked it away. And they're going to get out of this Wantirna South. And the kick down the wing. Oh, great handball there. The crowd was screaming about something, but they've gone down inside 50. Brilliant mark. Fantastic grab there. Taken by Beams. I'm not sure what the crowd were going on about, but they were... something maybe happened off the ball.
It was a bit of a crow pass there by... I think that's what they were harking up about there,
Jack O'Keefe, though, brilliant smarts there, Brush. Didn't really take possession of the footy, did he? Just flicked it out to Wallace on the run, and the game's opened up after half-time.
Yep.
So, Beams, let's see how he goes. This has been a difficult end to kick to. He starts it, and he's got it. Fantastic kick. So he's made up for the wind problems in the first half by slotting it through, and Beams with a goal. So that's his third of the day. And Wantirna South edge out to a 10-point lead on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 5-7-37, plays 4-3-27.
I think one of the things here, I reckon one of these sides is going to get a 10-15 minute period where they're going to dominate it. Go down to you, Whitey.
Yeah, another injury update, mate.
no.
Nothing but red mist is seeing nothing but pink mist at the moment. Rudd's injured, probably a right knee, it looks like.
That's a bad one.
That will be a huge loss, yeah.
He is hobbling, so Ryan Tui's down there, the head trainer for the Tigers, as we go up in the middle. Deans and Gordon. Deans won it down. One by McComb. Good work in the end there by Lachlan Ryan to actually body out Robbie McComb, who's got about a foot and I'd say 10 kegs on him. So yeah, Lachlan Ryan in the hands of the trainers. He's walking on it, but yeah, that doesn't look good, and that means Dylan Brooks' signing is going to be even more crucial, as that tap to space by Will Gordon is great. Cherry just slapped it further for Milne. He couldn't get it. Lang's there, got taken in a tackle, got a handball, back into trouble though. Barton Smith can't pick it up cleanly, being held by Wong, who somehow ended up with the footy. That's brilliantly done by Lincoln Wong. Brash is shaking his head. He can't believe how Lincoln Wong's done that.
Unbelievable. He had 3 players, Mitchum players, hovering around, sweating on Wong to make the mistake, but he kept his calm and cool.
Here we go. Gordon tapped it out in front. West, left foot ball into the pocket. Who's got the front spot? Marrow's there. Good spoil away by Walker. Marrow kept his feet, and then coming through was Oakley. Got the handball over the top to Del Papa, who swings it back to the corridor. The wind will take it out to the wind again.
Oof.
And then Brooks came through. Another big hit coming through was Crom. Handball over the top, Caney. He fakes the handball, then goes long. Beams is the target. Will it get to him? Well done by McLean, who's there. Crikey's kicked it out of mid-air, and then beautifully well done. Is he going to give it a goal? I think that's touched. Walker's claiming it, and he's going to give it a goal, I think. Or is it...
What's going on here?
Field umpires come in to confer. Crikey's did brilliantly on the replay to just hack it out of mid-air to Walker, and it's been given a touch rush behind. I think it was rushed.
It was. We'll go the rushed.
So it was a behind to the Devils. They're 5-8-38, Mitchum 4-3-27, but the game is opening up, and that all started with Lincoln Wong stopping what would have been a certain scoring opportunity for the Tigers.
So that would have certainly gone down as the Sportsco player of the day had that been a goal, but it was still a pretty good piece of play anyways. Joseph runs a couple of yards, now gets the boot to it, out towards that wing again, where the ball has spent so much time and it's going to bounce out of bounds.
Actually, to me, that's an admission of why are you playing the dead side. You're not scoring from that side of the ground.
No, it's interesting.
Just don't seem to be learning, do they? So we haven't seen Rudd return, so we'll keep an eye on him. It's going to be a big blow if he can't come back, which could really turn the game as the ball is knocked down by Gordon. Here they come, Mitchum. They'll go inside 50. Can they get a mark this time? They haven't had a lot of luck in this area, getting the front spot there, but no mark taken. Falls for Smith on the ground and taken down there. It might start spilled out. This could be a goal here. It is a goal, and it's Winterton, the captain, the player coach at least. He got on the end of it. It was an incredibly scrappy piece of play. As we watched the replay, didn't look to be much happening. The ball was bouncing around. Players trying to take control of it, and bang, off the boot, and through it goes.
Well, the forward pressure's been the way they're scoring goals, Brush, the Tigers, isn't it? Because and we're going to cross down to Steve in a second. Steve, what have you got for us?
Yeah, a couple of injury updates, mate. It's Rudd's right ankle seems to be the issue. I don't think he's coming back on the ground. Luke Grimer's back on the ground now for Wantirna South.
So 2 wins for the Devils, you would say there. Anyway, the forward pressure's been the key for all the goals for the Tigers. They've only got really Matt Gordon's provided a marking target, and Cameron Pizzazz, I apologise if I'm saying that name wrong, has provided an option but hasn't clung to one yet. But they've kicked a lot of their goals from that forward pressure as Winston kicked the goal and then got the clearance up in the air. Cherry flies, couldn't bring it down. Lang does.
Had a good game, Lang, been very solid off that half-back line.
And I think Jesse Cherry's trying to claim the mark. He definitely didn't have front spot. So Lang will have it on left half back for the Devils. It's 5-3-33 the Tigers.
Sorry,
Devils,
Jesse.
5-8-38. Short ball from Lang to Caney. I think he took off.
He was off.
He was off. Now he's off. Milne on the mark to Crom now in the middle. McGowan round past. So did Caney. Freeman wanted it on the left. He ignored them all and popped it up towards Wong at centre forward. Uren's got the sit. He takes the mark at centre half back, and let's bring it to this side, Jesse.
That was dumb football there by Crone.
He's got a man out here. It's McArdle, and that's a nice kick. It'll get to him just in time. Grimer's back on the ground and manning the mark, moving okay.
Good to see him back on it too.
McArdle goes short. It's a dangerous kick for Milne. Body was taken by Jared Smith. That's a correct free kick. Had no intent for the footy, but it has slowed it down. So the Tigers will have it on their right half back.
Luckily they got that free kick, Mitchum, because Wantirna South had 3 players there waiting and sweating on the mistake.
So Milne will go back to Glossop now, so they'll switch again. They trail by 5 points, 9 minutes into this third term. Glossop, the skipper, is going to come back to where the ball came. He's got West out the back. He didn't get good connection on that footy, but it might get there in the end. Milne flew, got hands to it. Lang again, mops up the mess. Got the handball inboard. You're hot, young fella. Smith got it out. Wong spins in and out of traffic. Wong got it back. Handball through. Light him up, Greg. and he's missed. That would have been Sportsco player
of the day, absolutely.
Lincoln Wong.
Boundary.
That's brilliant. When he crossed down now to the boundary.
Yeah, Lachlan Milne then just really looking at his knee there, was holding that after an incident, but kept moving after a few more contests, but he's come off to the boundary line now. Keep you updated.
Thanks, Ryan.
Even though they didn't get a goal, I still think that needs to be considered as a play of the day still.
Yeah, just crying shame it didn't go through as Joseph gets plenty of purchase on that. Brilliant mark taken there by Beams.
He's had a good game
He
too.
has played very well. He goes in board looking for a target. Wallace was there. Lost it. Now it's Mitchum. They can come forward here. Ball goes loose, bouncing around, trying to get hands on it there. Wallace again, ball on the ground. Now they come forward, Wantirna South. How quickly it can change. 1 minute Mitchum on attack, and just in the blink of an eye, a turnover, and Wantirna South go forward, and suddenly they're back on attack.
The skill factor of Mitchum once again has really hurt
They were
them
out there. Jared West had the whole wing to himself.
But they haven't won those 50-50 contests right throughout the contest so far, Matt.
So there's the ball in. Getting to the front spot there. Might have been Gordon coming over the top. They go down that line again, or down that wing again, where they've spent so much time in this match. Wantirna South, though, managing to chop it off. That's Lang. He's been very good today. Going in there, it was Horsey, I think it was. Gets the kick forward. Mitchum, can they get him? There's no one back there.
They've overcommitted here, Mitchum.
Yeah, and Walker just takes an uncontested mark, chips it across to Smith, and now they can switch the play right across the other side of the ground. That's poor from Mitchum. They really did just, as Brace said, they overcommitted, and now they've just got a whole bunch of uncontested marks for Wantirna South. They're taking a bit of time to get rid of it. Now they go down the line. Good to see play on this near side. We've hardly seen any play over here, bouncing around and taken across the boundary line there by Glossop.
It's been clear that both coaches have told the teams that they've got to switch the play whenever they can, Brash. That both sides look, especially Wantirna South, look like they're trying to switch when they can, and it's definitely made for better viewing, especially if it's on this side. Beams in the ruck. The ball just bounced back to Winton and got a handball out to Joseph. Did well to not get tackled with the footy. West is there. Can he get the hands away? Went back into traffic. He's gone. That's gone. High. And it was probably there. It was one of the two, because
it was
West,
one of those accidental sliding into.
Well, what I think, West is very lucky there, because he had runners surging past.
Yeah.
He chose not to handball to them, and now he's going to have to be very accurate with his kick. He's going to take on the man of the mark. He got around McGowan. The candy shop's open for 2021. Long down the line, Freeman's got the sit. Won't get to him. Good tackle from Matt Gordon. Dropping it there was Nathan Deans. Might get away with it. Matt Gordon's got it now. He just sort of places it down like a rugby league try. Caney is wrapped up by Winterton.
Where they've struggled,
we'll have a ball up.
Where they've struggled this year, Matty Gordon's really struggled at centre forward position. They haven't got much out of him this afternoon. No.
Jake Frenty's a big miss. So McLean got the hit out forward. Coming through there was Lucas. Doesn't have the footy still. Wrapped up by Nathan Deans. And then Lachlan Ryan piles in. We'll have another ball up. So 5-3-33, the Tigers. They trail
boundary.
Wantirna South 5-9-39 as it's tossed up in the air. We'll come down when we can, Steve. Deans couldn't take it out of the ruck, and then they sit atop each other once again down to the boundary line.
Yeah, Lockie Rudd icing up his knee. Up his ankle. That's his day done.
That's a disappointing for the Red Mist. Hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. McLean, I don't know what happened there. He just jumped at an imaginary ball. Ball got swung into the middle for a handball, and it's going to be a free kick for over the shoulder going the way of Blake Walker of the
He was lucky to get that, because Walker sold him nearly into an impossible disposal.
So Walker's kicking, a mark taken there, almost taken by Walsh, but he's won a free kick by the looks anyway. Now he runs away from the contest, sends it long down the middle. Can they get a mark? That's a push in the back. Massive push
in the head.
I think it was McGowan who was climbing up to take the mark, but he was all over the defender, and that was just a little bit obvious.
A little bit of inexperience there.
So free kick to Mitchum, and they will be able to bring it out.
They need runners there. That kick's good, but he needs a runner. There we go. Carroll.
So Carroll on the far side as the crowd goes absolutely mad. He must have his own fan club here as they go inside 50, but that's not a good kick, and I think it's Dean spinning out of the tackle. He's been good this afternoon, but the tackle on it won't be holding the ball. That'll be a ball up over there.
Probably the other thing that'll improve over the weeks are the decision making by the players as well. Some of it have been left a bit wanting.
So Deans takes it out of the ruck. Here's the little number 9 again, Walsh. He's come into the game quite nicely in the last couple of minutes. On the boot of Lang, goes down the line, and it's going to be taken there by Joseph. He's been good as well. It's got a bit more to do now that Rudd's had to come from the ground.
Maybe next year, Matt, we can put the caravan over the far side.
You reckon? They'll play this side if they do.
Yeah, they will.
So ball goes to centre forward for the Tigers. Lockie Ryan's there. Handball came out. Blake Walker got it out. Got hit after he handballed. Del Papa gave it over the top. and they just work it along the line.
I'm telling you now, Brash, it doesn't matter what side we're on, all the players are always on the other side. It's Murphy's Law.
Yeah, always happens when we go down to Boronia, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, and at least Mitchum's only 80 metres across.
Yeah.
So thrown in. Far side, of course, left half forward flank for the Tigers. They trail by 6 points. He took on the tackler there, the first one. That's got to be holding the ball. It is. So good tackle. The Tigers get another chance. That was Daniel Crome on the bottom of it. Lockie Ryan, returning to the club in 2021, has the free kick. He'll surely run around a bit on his right. No, he goes short and finds a target. It's Jesse Cherry. He's about 46 metres out. He'll have to kick from 50. Wants to go quickly. Just sort of pops it up to the top of the square. There's a leading man, Pizzazz. He won't get there. He won't have to. The mark's been claimed.
Not
Winterton
paid.
claimed the mark, wasn't paid, and then Oakley has a high fend off, and it's going to be a free kick to Riley Nicholas. So it's all happening. I think the umpires are to level up there because Winterton's held that. That's a mark. And now it's going to be 50 metres for talk back, and it looks like now Winterton's just claimed the footy. I don't think it's his unless the free kick, the 50 metre, was given against him. I don't think it can't be his. It's Riley Nicholas's. Yeah, Neil, you're a wise old cat, Neil, but that was never your free kick. He did take the mark, but it wasn't paid. And a high fend off from Damon Oakley means Nicholas can walk in and stab it through. And scores are level, gentlemen. We've gone 16 minutes in this third quarter, and the Tigers are mounting a comeback. Steve White and Ryan Long on the boundary.
Yeah, just a quick update on Milne. He's back on the field now, running fine, so he should be right to go.
Great work, Ryan. Brash.
That wasn't actually bad play there by Mitchum. They kept the ball low, even though it went into the pocket. The intention there was to make sure the wind had no influence on that movement. It worked in the end because they ended up getting a goal out of it through some ill discipline
They
from
must have finally listened to us, Brash, because we've been calling them for them to do that about 2.5 quarters. So the umpire sends it up in the middle. Deans, the big man, goes up with Gordon, I think it was. Now there's a little Wong. He's had a fantastic game this afternoon, taking the tackle. Yeah. But he's been done for holding the ball.
Tigers got all the momentum.
Yeah, they have. He didn't take the first option there, Lincoln. Probably his first mistake of the day.
No, first mistake indeed. Milne goes down that far side again. Trying to get hold of it there was the number 27. That's Persis, but he couldn't do so. And the ball is out of bounds. You'd be a brave man to pick the outcome of this one. It's really up for grabs. 6-3 plays 5-9, 39 apiece. Here's Dean's just waiting as the umpire gets good purchase on the ball. Nice and high. Didn't go very long, but Dean's, I think, got the front tap. There's Wong again. Another clearance for him. Love to see his stats today as the ball goes to ground, and he's in there again. Really has had a fantastic game and wrapped up nicely. And we'll have another ball up. So you can see the far side of the ground. The trees still blowing, so still plenty of wind out there. Wreaking havoc with these high balls. Deans takes it out of the ruck himself. That's the new rule as he slams it onto the boot, trying to find someone down forward. Going back there though and claiming it. Nicely done there by Glossop, and his kick out towards the boundary, and it's nicely marked there by Uren. He's played all right too, Jesse Uren. Goes down the boundary. Flying high there was the number 43. Now it's back on the ground again, diving on it there. There might be a free kick. What does the umpire say? Yep, free kick, push in the back. So, free kick for Mitchum, and they can launch again off half-back. Long kick forward, once again going down to that wing, over the top, and just escorted towards the boundary line. It's still in, and it's been snapped inside 15. Now, can they get a mark? It's a one-on-one contest. Trying to get his hands on it there was the Mitchum player, couldn't quite do so. That might be deliberate. That has to be deliberate.
He's running over. Yeah!
Yes!
He loved it.
Absolutely had to be deliberate. Paid every day of the week, and Mitchum will get a free kick in the opposite pocket.
Especially when there was no one there to kick it to.
No, there was absolutely not.
It was actually daylight and a boundary line.
So it's going to be a really tough kick though. Ryan, he's hard up against the boundary, and with the wind factor as well, this will be like a boomerang. You'll have to sort of start it out probably.
Well, if it was any day, the wind.
Here's the kick. He hasn't struck that at all well, and in fact I think it's out on the full. No, it's a point. It's gone through for a point.
Wind's brought it back.
So the wind did bring it back. So it's a point though that puts Wantirna South back on level terms. Puts Mitchum in front, should I say, by a point. It's 6-4-40, playing 5-9-39 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So Caney plays on and pumps it long up the middle of the ground. The wind takes it into the centre corridor. Joseph does well after. There was a bit of a shove on there. The umpire says no, and slung to the ground after the whistle. So ball up in dead centre of Walker Park. We're almost into time on. It's the Tigers 6-4 leading the Devils 5-9. Handball came out of there by Smith, and then Robbie McCowan bursts away.
Ooh.
Good effort by West, just affected the kick. Great work by Jared West. And then Glossop recovered, got the handball to McArdle, got it to Brooks, under pressure, ball skills aren't his forte. Kick went over the top, little slap away, didn't quite work out for the Tigers, but it's okay. Carroll picks it up, chips it over the top, good hand on it there by Wong coming through. McArdle got the handball, Carroll stood and have it, Wong goes again, but the free kick's going to come back to Zach Carroll. And there's a bit on behind the ball. Devils need to be careful here, Brash. They're just losing momentum, and I don't think they're enjoying it.
Well, I'll put it this way, Mitchum have got the upper hand mentally at the moment on Wantirna South.
So Zach Carroll's got it, he's been good. Short ball won't quite get there to McArdle, got his handball to West, who's hot. Wong will wrap him up, West did well, spun around him, kicked it into the corridor, it's a dangerous ball. They should get there first, the Devils, in Walker, and the bounce eluded him for so long, and then Jesse Smythe did well to close him down. It can't be holding the ball, he had no prior. And we'll have a ball up on the opposite side of the cricket pitch this time. 20 and a half minutes gone. Mitchum 6-4-40, Wantirna South 5-9-39. Ball up once again, Gordon and Deans, as they've done all day. Go to it, slap forward out of there by Brent Walker. Uran and McGowan. McGowan does well, kept his feet, handball into the middle. Del Papa came surging through, pops it up into the pocket. Beams is the target, will it get to him? He did well to keep it down, tapped it inside to O'Keefe. Dribbling ball, but the ball's gone out of bounds for a boundary throw, and that would have probably been deliberate by Benjamin Joseph. Luckily there was a whistle, and we'll have a ball in deep in the forward pocket for the Devils, who trail by 1 point.
So, no closer to working out who's going to win this one. It really is an arm wrestle at the moment, but the game has certainly opened up in this third quarter. Just waiting for the umpire. He's taking a bit of time to get over there. What's he doing? Seems to be a bit of confusion amongst the players, but now it's now it finally gets chucked in. There's the tap out for falls on the ground. Diving on it there was Walker. He's been good for Wantirna South today. Going away was Greg from the contest. McComb tries to get hands on it. They kick down the line, dropped by Mitchum, and it's on the ground, and they bouncing around. There's number 9 Wallace. He's been good too for Wantirna South today. Crowd screaming for a free kick as Joseph puts it onto the boot and slams it down to that far side, and once again the ball will go out of bounds courtesy of the wind over there, and we'll have another boundary throw in. So Mitchum 6-4-40 leading Wantirna South 5-9-39 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and we've been through 22 minutes.
Joseph's been a bit of a general down there, and that off that half back line has repelled quite a few Wantirna South inside 50 forward thrusts.
Yeah, he's needed to, Brash, particularly with Rudd going off. As the ball is back in the tight stuff, and the umpire says we'll ball it up.
Yeah, so it looks like Brooks is taking the deepest forward at the moment. Glossop's playing less of a roaming role and having to actually lock onto someone.
And so the tap down, it was Carroll who went after it, but it's once again a stalemate over there. We did have a little bit of time with the ball over this side of the ground, but I'd estimate maybe 95% of the game's been played on that far side of the field as Gordon gets a tap down into the contest. Taking it away was Barton Smith. Here's Wong. Wong gets his boot to it. He goes inside 50, trying to find a target. There's a fair bit of wrestling there. Is that number 6 is Barton Smith. In fact, it's Grimer. Now here's a chance for Wantirna South, and the shot from O'Keefe is off target. He had a lot to do. It was a banana kick from a pretty acute angle, and he couldn't quite get the job done, but it's like the score's up again. It's 6-4-40, playing 5-10-40 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So Joseph's got it now. I'd suggest he come our way, but he's not going to.
Of course not.
Goes out towards Gordon. And then out the back is the other Gordon. He got the handball through to Will Gordon, so the two big fellas combined. McArdle just got a little right foot grubber. Matt Gordon will claim the mark, and he'll be paid it long enough. Now they've got to switch on if he wants. Will he back himself? No, gave it off, and then Joseph just whacked it on the boot, a low ball. Marrow got beaten in the air, it went over his head. Winterton's there, struggling on hands and knees. And he'll go back again. Smythe did well, kept it up. Marrow handballs out towards Ryan. It slapped over the head by Mendes, and then Freeman gave it off. Bit of candy by Del Papa. Got the handball through to Walker. Walker loops it over the top. He'll try and get his own footy back. Will Gordon should get it. He does. Handballs off to West. Stepped inside. Got his handball over the top. And then it will go out of bounds off McArdle. And we'll have a ball in just forward to centre wing Mitchum's way. 24 minutes gone in this third quarter. And scores are level. So
I think Mitchum's tackling pressure is really come to the fore in the last 10 minutes here in this quarter.
Well, Will Gordon got to the front spot, beat Beams, and then West. He's been good in this third term. Handball over the top. Cherry's handball back, and they slam it on the boot through Barton Smith, who's got front spot. Oh, is that a mark? Is that a free kick? It is a free kick. I think it's Lucas Marrow down there. It is. And he's going to line up for his second. He'll be directly in front, 20 metres out. But on a day like today, Brash, that's no sure thing.
No, it isn't. But good commitment there by Marrow. He put his body right on the line there.
And that was good work there by the Tigers to think their way through with handballs. And then Barton Smith, he probably didn't like his kick off the boot, but he...
sometimes those ugly kicks work in your favour.
Well, let's hope he's got a clear head too, because he hit the ground pretty hard, so he looks a little bit dazed.
We got the free kick for high as well, didn't he? So
did.
Lucas Marrow directly in front for his second. He loves a goal. He's 25 metres out, directly in front, puts it out to the right goal post and brings it back. Tigers kick their seventh. They're 7-4-46. Wantirna South 5-10-40. 25 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
This has been a really good quarter here for Mitchum. They've just turned the wick up here a little bit. Their tackling pressure around the ground has forced many Wantirna South mistakes, and I think that just the experience here of Mitchum just starting to slowly get on top. If they can hit that disposal rate a lot more accurately, I think Wanty South are in a bit of trouble.
And just think about, we mentioned that there was 4 or 5 premiership players playing in the reserves today, so going to be good signs for the Tigers, but there's still a quarter and a bit to go, Bresto.
Scary times for the rest of the competition as the ball comes down. Dean's got the tap, but into the tight stuff, and the umpire will ball it up. So 25 minutes played in this third term. Still only a kick in it. Something's going to give soon, you think, as the ball is on the ground. Trying to pick hands up there was Winterton. He got it out too, and here's an opportunity now. Knocked forward by West. West gets a kick in, but it may have a bit too much on it, and it's going to beat everyone over the boundary line. Smith was in the vicinity, but he wasn't going to get there.
Mitchum are getting more value for their forward inside 50 forays than what Wantirna South are getting at the opposite end at the moment.
Just a couple of around the ground scores quickly. South Belgrave by 6 points over Mulgrave at 3/4 time. The Basin by 13 over Heathmont, and Boronia by 5 goals over Knox.
Interesting results. Here's the ball coming in. The head out was won by Wantirna South, but it's going to be tied up well and truly. And we'll have another ball up. It was Ryan who came in with a good tackle over the top, and it's getting a bit willing in there too. There's a little bit of jumper pulling and a bit of pushing.
And I think the wind's finally starting to die down.
Yeah, there's a lot of heavy tackling going on here.
So the tap out, getting onto the boot there was Smith. He got the kick towards the forward pocket, the centre full forward position, but it's knocked out of bounds. So
interesting decision to go short there. I thought I would have thought that was just perfect for a long bomb to the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not sure what he was doing there. Here's the ball back in the field of play. McComb was there, but he couldn't get hands on it. It's Deans who puts it on the boot, and it's fallen too for Wantirna South. Heavy tackle on McGowan. The crowd screaming for holding the ball, but it's not been paid. In fact, it has been paid. They got the kick inside, but the whistle had already gone, and we'll have the free kick to Urin.
Tell you what, it was one of the better kicks too, because it was right in that hot spot there, and Mitchum had a couple of players ready to pounce on that.
So Jesse Urin, can he hit a target? It hasn't been their strength today, Mitchum. He sends it long. As the ball comes clear, falling over there was, in fact, that might be ball. Let's have a look and say, yes, it is.
Yeah, a bit of a crowd favourite free kick, that one.
Yeah, so Wallace with the ball.
Been all right today, I think. Had moments.
He's had some good times. Goes
That's one of them.
Down the middle of the ground. Crone was there, but it went straight over the top of his head. Going there trying to pick it up was McGowan. Now it's in the hands of Mendez. Now they go forward, Wantirna South, towards that far side of the ground. It's been battered across there, and it should go out of bounds, you would think, on that far side, and it has, for a boundary throw-in. So 28 minutes, we can't have too much longer to go in this quarter. And it's still Mitchum by a kick.
Absolutely.
After about the opening 5 minutes of this quarter, where Wantirna South looked like they were in control, Mitchum have controlled the rest of the quarter.
Absolutely, and it's been the story of Wantirna South to be ruining that early first quarter where they had all the running and didn't do much with it. It goes forwards for the Tigers once again. Well done by McLean, got rid of Freeman but dropped the mark, and then Caney, being one of the Devil's best, picks it up and just mungs it down the line, and it has gone out of bounds on the full. So the free kick should be going here to Lockie Ryan by the looks of it. Apologies if it isn't Lockie. So it goes short. It's a horrible kick to Carroll, but he makes it work and then steps in and out and just goes the snap around the body back towards McLean. And well done, though, coming across the front of the pack It's Callum Mendes. He looks inboard. He's got Lang, but it's a dangerous kick, and he's going to go up the line again. Brashy can sense it. Freeman tells him to. He pokes it, looking for McComb.
But not a good
Winston intercepted it, but mistimed his junk, and then Wong. He took the man on the boundary line, but ran out of room. That was another
he was
player
away
contender,
too.
wasn't he? He was eyeing it off. He's going to wrap up all the packages, I reckon, Lincoln Wong.
He's going to get a full house.
So, thrown in once again. Where we started this previous passage, it's a nice throw in. Gordon got his way to the front spot, ended up on the bounce. He'll put his head over the foot. He's got 3 Devils to contend with. McComb just tries to bustle his way out of that pack. He's going nowhere, and we'll have another ball up. Edging into the 30-minute mark here. Tigers 7-4, Wantirna South 5-10. And it's just pinballing again. All the players just waiting for that three-quarter time siren as Winston gets it on the left boot, just snaps it around the body, and then looks like it was Nathan Deans there, just misread the flight of the ball, and it'll go over the line for another boundary throw-in.
I think Neil Winnerman will be really happy with the tackling pressure and not allowing Wantirna South any sort of free ball movement from their back line into their forward 50.
Oh, absolutely. So it's thrown in again. Gordon and Deans. Deans won the hit out, and a great smother there from Jesse Smythe coming through, and then looks like Lucas putting his head over the footy, trying to will it forward for the Tigers, and we'll have another ball up, centre half forward. If they can pinch one here, Mitchum, it'll be unbelievable momentum heading into that last quarter. But we're into the 31st minute of this third term. They lead by a goal, which is a surprise to many, but nonetheless, it's cleared by Wallace, who's, as I said, had moments. That was a good one. Joseph got the spoil. It's sit up for McCardle. It won't. Good handball. The Devils. Can Callum Mendes do anything with it? Step back into trouble. He's wrapped up. Umpire says he got the ball out, and he did. And now Winston will sit atop it, and we'll have another ball up. 31 minutes gone. Third quarter. It's the Tigers by 1 goal. They're actually kicked 7-4-46 they are to Wantirna South 5-10-40. So a good quarter by the Tigers. They kicked 3 goals, 1 to the Devils, 1 goal, 3. And on the other side of this break, we'll be back for the last quarter of this Division 1 Round 1 clash between Mitchum and Wantirna South.
Yes, go on. So, Steve, do you want us to have a quick word? Yep. I'll cue you in. Yep. I'll just get a boundary. Cross using the boundary. Steve's not pretty about
that third quarter, the Tigers just wanting it more than the Devils.
They did, and I thought the fact is, it's probably no surprise that Mitchum are in front, Matty, because they worked extremely hard in that third quarter to get their 6-point lead. I just thought that they ran harder, they tackled harder, and they denied Wantirna South the much-needed run from off their half-back line, and the ball was constantly being repelled from inside their forward 50. One of the things that I noticed too was, on some occasions, because Mitchum's pressure was so good, the Wantirna South forward line just fell out of. It just actually fell out of structure, and a lot of the players were caught flat-footed running the other way when the ball was coming in, and there was just no one there for them.
They did get it inside 50 a few times, but as you say, Brash, there was just no one there. They couldn't get any clean marks inside 50, and I think, they talk about defence winning games, and Mitchum's tackling pressure in that third quarter has really just got them on top, and it's now flowing into the offensive side of it as well. So if
Boundary.
Absolutely, and we've got Ryan Long down there on the boundary line. Ryan?
Just with Wantirna South Coach Steve Cochran, Mitchum just started to get a bit on top of that quarter. What are the main things that need to be changed for the last quarter?
We need to start winning the ball and starting to be a little bit cleaner and use the ball the way we want to use it. I think, you're right, they got on top, they were a bit harder in the contest and started to distribute the way they wanted to distribute out wide and create the run. So, they played well that quarter.
Thanks, Steve. All the best for the last quarter.
Great work, Ryan. On debut, he's impressive, Rash.
Yes,
he's
very impressive.
So,
Sounds like he's enjoying himself down there too.
And I'm sure once he gets the mic over to Steve White, Steve will tell us what was happening over in the Mitchum huddle.
Oh, it's all down to the coaching down here, mate. Neil Winterton, I'm pretty happy with his boys' effort. He's basically saying that the boys, he said that Wantirna South don't want to know about the ball when it's a one-on-one on the ground. He's saying kick it high, kick it with the breeze, use the tools to their advantage, and that should bring them home in the final quarter.
Well, there you go, Brash. Once again, we seem to be hitting the nail on the head. Wanty South don't want it. That's what the coaches are saying. That's what everyone's saying. Quarter of action to go here in round one of the Eastland Football Netball League in this Division 1 clash. It's the Mitchum Tigers, the home side. They lead by a goal. Take it away, Besto.
So, first head out of the last quarter, should I say, won by Wantirna South. They really have to get something going because they were outplayed in that third quarter. Bouncing back there, going forward is Walker. Cries of holding the ball, but it's come out. He's dived it on again, Walker. He could be in a bit of trouble, but in the end it's wrapped up. And I doubt very much if it's going to come out of there. And the umpire says
Walker had 2 yards for a quick handball disposal there, took his mind off it, and then was run down by a Mitchum player for a tackle.
Yeah, bit slow. They're going to have to be a bit more proactive rather than reactive if they're going to get back in this game. As the kick goes down the line, I thought the mark was taken, but 2 players with their hands on it. So the umpire says we'll ball it up.
I think Wong looks like he's starting forward.
He has to. They're probably trying to plug a hole, Matt.
Speak of the devil.
There he was. To McComb. So Wong to Wallace to McComb. Left foot ball down the line. Well done, backing back there by Joseph. He might have pinged a calf here. He's clutched immediately to it. The old man's injury. I don't know how old Ben is, but that's not a good sign if it is one. West on hands and knees. Just flipped it blindly over his shoulder. And we'll go out of bounds for a boundary throw-in, and some beautiful brand advertising there. Well done to Jared West. Checks in the mail.
I almost feel if Mitchum can score a couple of goals early in this last quarter in the opening 10 minutes, I think it might be enough.
It's been a low-scoring game. So Uran was held, no free kick. Well done by West. Chased down Robbie McComb. He got a little dribble kick away. And then they just keep forcing it forward. They hit the Devils. Nice little fend. Left foot ball to the top of the square, but well done to Dylan Brooks. Read it best, and he's got an opportunity to give it to Nicholas Wide, and he will. It's a dangerous looking kick. He doesn't look very certain on it, but well done by Nicholas. He got to front spot, got rid of the ruckman. They're still out this side. He goes short. Trying to tug it in Horsey. Horse they call. Johnny Longmire down the line. Smythe. Was he impeded? No free kick. And the ball will dribble over the line for a boundary throw-in. Down to the boundary line.
Jesse Urin from Mitchum just struggling to get up from that last contest on the other side of the bench, other side of the field. We'll keep you updated on the situation.
Good eye, Ryan. We'll toss it in right in front of us. Brody Eccles, the boundary umpire. Storied boundary umpire in the east. Throws it in. Will Gordon. Nice tap for Winston. Came through. And then left it behind for West. Little left foot ball. Wallace has got to go. Bounce beat him. And the Devils, they're wrapped up once again. Good tackle by Hayden McLean. And the Tigers have got an opportunity 30 metres out from their goal. 2.5 minutes in this last quarter at a stoppage.
This is a really important stoppage here for Mitchum.
Well, for both sides, Brash.
Yeah.
And it's tapped out. Winston couldn't get the quick ball that came past at him. Lang, who's been very good for the Devils, was first to the footy. And he's wrapped up immediately by Horsey. And it's 10 metres closer to the Wantirna South goal. Still 40 metres out from the Mitchum one as we go again. Wong is unmarked at this contest. The slap went out though to Smythe. Went onto his left side. Del Papa got the tackle. He got his handball away. Winston dived on it. Might have been high. And it's going to be another ball up. So they're just edging it close to the boundary line. Cramp out there. Jesse Smythe is struggling with cramp.
He won't be the only one, I reckon, before the game's out.
The umpire's just going to ball it up. Jesse's in a dangerous spot here, but nonetheless, Will Gordon got rid of his man. Got the handball off. West snapped it around the body. Ball goes across the face. Can Marrow get there? He got hands to it. Deans, Nathan, slapped it towards the boundary line. It'll stay in. Well done by Zach Carroll. Little ball is touched off the boot, and we'll have a boundary thrown right in front of the Mitchum faithful. 7-4-46 the Tigers. Montrose South 5-10-40. 3.5 gone. Last quarter.
Poor old Beams, he went flying forward there like he'd been shot out of a cannon. He got a really hard body check, but it was obviously a fair one. So umpire to throw it in on the far side. As it falls a bit short of that, it's been socket out of there. You don't see that very often. Over towards the boundary line and over in front of the Mitchum faithful on that far side of the ground. So still a goal in it. One wonders about Mitchum's ability to finish this game. They've got a few players injured and they've lost a couple in the game already. And a couple as the kick goes towards goal and it's hit the post, has it?
West
it was. Had a snap and it's gone through for a point. So we're within a kick now. In fact, they're just outside a kick, should I say.
Handy point is what you're trying to say, Besto.
That's what I'm saying, yep.
He's been very busy in this second half, West.
Yeah, and he's been quite good in tight, hasn't he?
So 7-5-47 plays 5-10-40. Means that Wantirna South have to score twice. Not looking likely at the moment as the ball goes down the wing. Taking possession there was Beams at least. Spinning on the tackle there was Chrome. Gets a handball away. And they go down the line trying to get a mark inside 50. Not going to happen, I don't think. They do get it inside 50. Chasing through there was...
Gone!
And that might be holding the ball. It was Deans who went probably not really aware of who was behind him.
Now they're going to be heard on the turnover here at Wanty South.
I think that's Lockie Ryan. He goes long to Marrow, the smallest of key forwards, and Brooke Caney swept back in defence. He's been good. The game's opening up. Short ball. Ooh, that could be 50. That was dangerous. And they go out wide. Lang, been good. He's got a runner. It's Nathan Deans. He kept going for him. He ignores him. They're going to have to go long down the line, but they're playing our side, Brash.
Ray!
It's a welcome return to the commentary side. Long ball up the line. Dean's got the front spot, brought it to ground. Well done, good handball over the top. Nice gather. Smith gave it off. O'Keefe, been quiet, used his pace and then put it to the top of the square. He's got a man out the back, Wallace. Carroll got back in time. Wallace got outbodied. And then Joseph, he's recovered from that calf and he'll just take it over the line, will he? No, he's going to try and burst away. And he did. And then a sweeping handball to Neil Winston. Takes an early bounce. He goes up the wing, little chipping ball towards Gordon. Good hands in front of Freeman. The Tigers are on here. He wants 50. It has to be 50. It's not.
He's not giving it.
He's got Cherry in the middle, ignores him. The big fella goes to the pocket. Marrow on a long lead, but Caney, he got in front and took a good intercept mark, and he's been massive today for the Devils, Brooke Caney.
Yeah, I wonder if the umpires have cut the players a bit of slack because there's been a few non-decisions today. That definitely looked like a 50 metre, but not paid.
Otherwise, it was a good Academy Award performance then.
So it's Caney with the football. And just looking around for some options and who to kick it to. Very noisy dog out here today. He's been barking virtually the whole game.
He's excited to be back on the footy.
He's excited like everyone else. A kick's been overdone though, and it's been taken and marked by Gordon. Gordon goes inboard. Good kick. Fine from Cherry. Now they go down the line. In fact, they come back inside. That's a wasted kick, and it's been cut off. Here's a chance for a rebound. Wantirna South, they need to get something going. The kick out to this side of the ground, but it's well defended and well played by Uren.
That's high.
And that's high, surely.
Just giving Holden the man. But
yep. And so free kick.
All's well that ends well.
Probably, yeah, he's lucky.
So Jesse Uren with the ball. And taking an age once again to get rid of it. Sells a bit of candy. Decides to go on his own. Puts it long into the forward line. Up there going for it was Gordon. Couldn't quite get hands to it, and it's on the ground. And I think Winterton's at the bottom of that. And so we'll have a ball up.
You can already see what the two coaches were talking about. The Tigers any opportunity, get it in long to Matty Gordon, bring it to ground. And then the Devils, they're finally starting to try and open up the whole ground, aren't they?
Crucial piece of play here. You feel that a goal for Mitchum, and this one just about might be all over. So really important that Wantirna South are able to hang on here.
But even when they're getting clear air with the ball, Wanty South, their decision making, they're just a split second off. They're not getting rid of it quick enough.
The pressure's very high by the Tigers. So it's up in the air here. McLean and Freeman. McLean slapped it forward. Then Matt Gordon slapped it into the path there of Jesse Smythe. That might have been a throw. Marrow picks it up and kicks a goal, but the umpire's bringing it back for a throw. It was a throw. I think everyone out there knows it's a throw. The crowd, on the other hand, much less forgiving of the umpire, but nonetheless. So Papa will have it, and it's another reprieve for the Devils. They're under pressure. Short chipping ball will find Freeman. A much trimmer Jackson Freeman after a year off, running for charity. Goes long up the line. The target is Beams, who's been good all day. And then Dylan Brooks came across. Went the old Nick Maxwell double-fisted spoil Besto over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
Three Mitchum players always around a contest. Wantirna South, not enough numbers around the ball.
Brash wants more from the Devils. Wong's unmanned at this contest, which is dangerous, and the ball might sit for him. He does well. Jumped over the whole pack. Look at that leap. Lockie Ryan, great handball. They're out here. West, Nicholas, steps it from centre half back. A long kick toward Pizzazz. Can't get to the front spot. Well done by Damon Oakley. He's won that battle today and spoils it out over the boundary line. 8.5 minutes gone here in this last quarter. Mitchum 7-5-47. Wantirna South 5-10-40.
So it really is getting to the point of no return. We've almost halfway through the last quarter. Absolutely vital that Wantirna South get the next goal. Here's the ball knocked forward. That might have been holding the man. The umpire says play on, and it's back into a contest again, and we'll have a throw-in. Ball up at least.
Out of the two sides, Mitchum look like the only side that can score. That look like they can kick a winning score here.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that, Brash. Wantirna South have gone for it a few times, but they just don't seem to be able to put the finishing touches, and we'll have another stoppage.
A couple of scores around the ground. South Belgrave are 8-14-62 in front of Mulgrave by 6 goals, and Boronia lead Knox by 50 points at three-quarter time. Ringwood the same over Templeton.
Dean's the tap down to Wong. Cause of holding the ball, but it came out in the tackle. I think it was fair enough. Put on the boot, and that's into the forward pocket. They're screaming the crowd for holding the man, but the umpire will just play a throw-in.
Don't think Ryan Webster would be too happy with that result so far.
8-14 to 3-6.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
Our man Davis Harrigan's out there, so I'm sure we'll hear about it. But South Belgrave, we expected we're going to be very strong.
Yeah.
So umpire to throw it in. Up it goes nice and high. Deans works his way to the front spot, knocks it down. Taking it away was Wong. And ball comes out, and it's a good strong tackle put on the Beams at one. In fact, it wasn't Beams, it was number 23 McCardle, and the umpire says we'll have another ball up.
Once again, Lincoln Wong charging through the pack, trying to create something.
Yeah. One-man band at the moment, isn't it?
If the rest of the guys would go with him, it's a sort of a come with me, boys, but unfortunately no one else is. Umpire throws it up again. Dean's got beaten that time to the ball. He comes out nicely, picked up there by Greg. Greg gets it forward, but it's going to be cut off there by plenty of Mitchum, but it's fallen for Wantirna South again. It's O'Keefe spinning in the tackle, and once again it's on the ground, and the umpire says we'll ball it up. Mitch will be happy to do this all day, just kill the ball and force stoppages. They do have that goal and a bit lead, so they'll be quite happy to be in this position. Now the ball comes out. Now here's a chance for Wantirna South. They can get some open air here. They might be able to, but they run back into the contest. Chance to come out to this fat side, and
that was well done by Lockie Ryan, Brash. He left his man because he saw, as Besto correctly called, it was a great chance for McGowan if he'd got that footy to be in space. Ryan left his man and affected the tackle well, and you could say we didn't save a goal, but he definitely saved a goal scoring opportunity as Cherry got the handball back to Barton Smith, just whacked it on the boot out the space. Jesse Smythe, he's provided a bit of a forward option today, and he's kept it out in front of himself. Freeman's there, as is Deans. He's burned a couple of them, might have run too far, got the handball away just in time to Jared West, who's also been good, especially in this second half. Handball to Winterton. And then he's just gone a little check side round the corner. Freeman had front spot. McLean did well to spoil. And then smothered the hand pass. Oakley's under pressure. Got his handball away just in time to Wong. To Freeman. Freeman, opposite hand handball. Over the top. It's found its way to Greg, who wheels onto the right peg and then kicks it out of bounds on the full. So it was constant pressure there from the Tigers, and the Devils did well to keep it moving, but eventually
it just keeps breaking down for them, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's the Tigers. They just want it more, Brash.
Oh, they do. Talk about the Devils in the deep blue sea.
Exactly. So Uren, the switch is on. He's got a couple in the middle, ignores them both. So let's hope he at least gives it somewhat towards the corridor, pumps it right up the line. Target there is McLean, did well. He knocked it over the line for a boundary throw in. 12 and a bit minutes gone. Tigers by 7 points.
I think the biggest problem with the switch on a ground like Mitchum is the fact that it's nearly a 2 to 3 kick switch, Matty.
and it's because of the shortness of the ground as well. There's a lot of players around at all times. Will they recall this boundary umpire throw-in? They're going to have to, because it just went straight back to him.
I'll tell you what, I'm just looking at Lincoln Wong over there, and he's had an outstanding game, but he's got the teapot happening. He's got hands on hips, and he's looking a little bit spent. I think he's just run himself into the ground this afternoon. You wonder how much more he's got in the tank.
Exactly. I think, as we said, first game back for a while. I know they've had practice matches, but nothing matches the real thing. So slapping it forward here, really well done there by Nicholas Mendes. And it's just Nicholas piles in for the Tigers, and we're going to have another ball up. So the Tigers, as Besto said, will be very happy to keep doing this, but you'd like them. I think Tigers fans would like another goal on the board, but beggars can't be choosers. It's thrown up. Matt Gordon won the hit out towards the boundary line once again. Then he got his handball back into the corridor, slapped it forward. It might work out. McArdle got the handball through, and then Jesse Cherry has taken over the line there by Hamish McGowan, who's returned after an earlier blood rule. And it's a calm before the storm, I feel, here, because a goal to either side will really open the game up. Mitchum will have to score again, or the Devils will definitely have to, as that hit out fell into the hands there of Lockie Ryan. Long ball up the line. Smythe, can he read it best? The ball might sit for him. Tries to tap it into the path of a teammate, Barton Smith, who's immediately wrapped up by Freeman and a teammate, and we'll have a ball up on the half-forward flank for the Tigers, who are 7-5. They lead the Devils 5-10. 14 minutes gone, last quarter.
So, still on the line this game, but you get the feeling that Wantirna South are very close. Mitchum are very close to putting it away if they can get the next goal. They kick forward there by Freeman, but it's to nobody, and it's been marked. And Mitchum will start again. They've had most of the play in this last quarter so far as they go inside 50 again. Up they go for it, but it's bouncing around. Can someone get hands on it? Almost a kick there from Ryan, but he just couldn't get enough on it. Calls for holding the ball, and the umpire's paid it, so free kick. Defensive free kick to Wantirna South. Freeman got himself in trouble. He's given up the ball. In fact, it's a horrible piece of play. And in fact, it's Barton Smith. Got my wrong man buns there.
No, you're correct. Freeman took on Barton Smith.
Oh, sorry.
Two examples of why Wantirna South are struggling to get in the contest. You're not going to win a game of football trying to attack with 18 men in your defensive 50, and then unfortunately for Jackson, he had a bit of a brain fade there.
I think two different wavelengths. He wants to move it quick, but no one's moving for him.
Yeah. This could mentally put Wantirna South out of the contest here.
So here's the kick on its way. This will finish it, I think, if it goes through, and it's there. And I'll tell you what, just quietly between you and me and the doorpost, the Neverland Store player, it's the Sportsco Play of the Day.
I reckon you're right onto it there, Besto. Great work from Alex Barton Smith in his Mitchum debut as well, crossing over from Ferntree Gully after a couple of best and fairest for the Eagles. And now he's might have just won the game for the Tigers there. 8-5-53, Wantirna South 5-10-40, 15 and a half minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and down to the boundary line with Steve White and Ryan Long.
Yeah, just looking at the Devils players at the moment, not much run, nothing up forward, as you've mentioned. It'd be hard to see him coming back from his.
Yep, they're running out of gas.
Barton Smith also, I think that's the Jesse Uren influence too, because they played together as juniors up at Ferntree Gully as well.
And Nicholas Hallow, who's from the premiership side but played reserves today. As the ball's pinballing around on the cricket pitch, a dangerous spot for any footballer in both summer and winter. And we'll have another ball up, a repeat ball up. So
you'd almost feel like Wantirna South are going to throw the bath out with the...
well, they've kicked 5 goals for the game, and now they need 2. So getting it out of there was Cherry, been good. McComb. And then just tried to swing it on the left boot.
They can't get a clean possession out, even out of a centre clearance, mate.
So it's going to be another ball up in the centre circles.
14 points, 15 minutes, 16 minutes gone.
They need 3 goals, as you said, and they've only kicked 5
hard to see it happening, isn't it?
So Carroll's under it. It'll work out for him. Handball off to Uran. Tried to sell the candy, decided against it, dribbled it out in front of his teammate Jesse Smythe, who got there first, and then just took it over the line. The safety of the boundary line, and the Tigers look set for a 2-goal win after a clean sweep of tipsters. I think everyone went with the Devils.
Oh, yeah.
And to be fair, I think the EFNL community, after the ins they've had, will be a bit surprised by this as the hands go forward. It's not over yet, of course. Up the wing, Brooks did well, got a spoil, but it's going to sit here. Can the Devils make something of this? Handball over the top, they've got the numbers, running in, open goal, Crikes nails it, got his second. Been quiet for a bit, but he's bobbed up when they need him. Devils get a reply. 6:10:46. Mitchum 8:5:53. 17.5 gone. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
First time they got the ball on their terms, and they got some clean area, and they managed to really. They started to run the ball. They got a really good ball movement there.
Yeah, you're right. Mitchum have been able to just negate any space they've had around the contest.
Yeah.
And Lincoln Wong's fatigue's probably affected that as well, but that's the first time they've been able to break out the front of a stoppage.
Yep.
And it's hurt the Tigers finally. So it's back to 7 points. This has happened every quarter. It's been a lull, and then once someone kicks a goal, the other team bursts into life. Caney came off the back of the square and got the ball and was wrapped up in a 2-Tiger tackle.
It's been important that second half for them, Luke Brooke Caney.
Yeah,
he's
done well.
Played well, yeah, he has.
Now what's going on here?
Repeat ball up, I believe.
Another
I think
repeat.
He's very happy with that. So it's going to be an exciting last 10 or so minutes. Gordon got the tap down. McComb, though, read him like a book, slapped it on the boot. It's all turning for the Devils here. O'Keefe, Gathers, handball, Del Papa, smothered. Oh, great smother. And then got it back. Is that Milne? It is Milne. Should get a free kick. He's been paid. It wasn't the controlling umpire. So Milne's smother on the Walker kick was brilliant. He probably did play it up a little bit, but he's got the free nonetheless.
That was a momentum saving.
You're right, Brash. They kick another one. It's sapping for the Tigers. Long ball down the line for Gordon and Freeman. They're grappling in the air. Coming across was Brooke Caney. He's been massive for the Devils, and he's probably overtaking Wong for my Devils man of the match so far. He's been impressive playing as that loose man in defence, and as you said, one of the Vermont guys who has played a fair bit of senior footy despite not getting consistent games in recent times as it's thrown in. Deans and Gordon. Deans won the hit out, but Winton crumbed it, gave it to West. He's high. Should have tackled Mendes. He could have had holding the ball. Instead, he chose to bump. And the Tigers will get a repeat ball up, and that could be a crucial indecision.
Yeah, I thought that was holding the ball myself, but...
he didn't tackle him best, though. He went the bump.
He went the bump.
Okay.
That's what we're saying. He should have tackled.
So up it goes. I better get my glasses fixed. So the ball's on the ground, trying to get in there and pick it. It's a free kick.
Yeah, it was there.
It was definitely there, and so this might really just put the icing on the cake now. Yeah, it's going to be Marrow go back, and this will finish it. It's a 7-point margin. Wantirna South did get that goal back and gave themselves a little glimmer of hope.
Gee, how important was that momentum smother there on that half-back line?
That was
awesome. That could be player of the day material.
We've got a few in the line now, haven't we?
We have indeed. Here's Marrow. This almost for the game, you would think. He's got it. Mitchum faithful behind the goals, letting us know. And Lucas Marrow puts through his third of the day, so the margin is back to 13 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's Mitchum 9-5-59 against Wantirna South 6-10-46.
Boundary.
Down to Steve White and Ryan Long on the boundary.
Yeah, look, I think Luke Marrow's been a little bit of a smoky under the radar for today's game. Just popped up when he's needed to. But I think the momentum killer, though, was that free kick there just on centre wing. If Wanty South got in, I think that would have been a very different ball game.
Yeah, exactly. And as Brash said, that smother could be player of the day, especially if the Devils get up here. Lucas Marrow, 3 goals. And so, very cleverly noticed there, Steve. That's a big impact in a low-scoring game from a small forward as well, who many probably wouldn't have in the best 22 of the Tigers, or he wouldn't be a permanent fixture, you wouldn't think, Brash, so he started the season well.
Yep.
Into time on. Gordon slaps it into space. Cherry came off the square, got his handball, didn't quite work. And now the Devils have to make this work, but indecision again. Lockie Milne, your man. Handballed it over the top. Caney intercepts. Brilliantly done. Handball inboard to Wong. Quick hands to Wallace, advantage. Wallace has got it. Handball over the top. Here they go. Del Papa, short ball. Found a target. Crikis. No one's gone near him today. Must pong. He's got 2-2, and he's going to line up from 35 metres out on a pretty slight angle to get another immediate reply, and this game's opening up once again, lads.
Every time we seem to call it for one side, it seems to... yeah.
5 minutes left on the unofficial clock as Crikis comes in, the kick off the boots.
That's in.
It's a behind. It's just gone across.
2 goals 3 to Jimmy Crikis today.
Could have broken the game open, but good signs of him for the future, and Joseph will take the kick in here for the Tigers. Important point though, the tie could be on here. 6-11-47 the Devils. And the Tigers 9-5-59, 21.5 minutes gone. Final term.
Joseph slams it down the line. It's been taken though by Wantirna South, and they'll get a chance to bring it back. It's now or never really. Here's the kick inside 50. They just bomb it in there as they have so many times. And mark has been dropped over there. It was Carroll who almost took it, but he did enough to force a stoppage. As we go boundary side.
Yeah, we've been lucky all game, but the heavens have started to open up. Just a light drizzle at the moment, but will make a difference in the last 4 minutes.
Suit the Tigers, wouldn't it?
So ball comes to ground. And it's taken out of the situation there by Crikis. It wasn't Crikis, it was Smythe. Smythe gets it down, and you can see the rain too as we look over on that far side, just against the trees and the cars, and it is coming down fairly heavily. Unfortunately, though, we are towards the end of the match.
3 straight kicks.
And so hard to see Wantirna South kicking at 3 goals in the remaining time, particularly now with the elements probably going against them as well. Nice mark taken there by Carroll, and he'll be happy just to slow it down. They'll just do this now, Mitchum. They'll chip it around. They think they've probably got this game won.
Yeah, 12 points of difference is going to be hard to get back, Besto, you're right, but the conditions make it hard to chip it around, as we can see. That goes straight there. Wong, big fly. And it's going to be a free kick for unrealistic attempt. That would have been played today if he brought that down.
It would have been. It would have been.
So, Jesse Cherry, who's been impressive as well. Great. G-Mac's got to check on that flagpole. Bruce, that's going down. The wind's picked up here.
It's almost horizontal.
It's going dead set in all directions. So, Tigers are trying to just chip it around. There's only about 2.5 minutes, 3 left, you would think, but these conditions are making it hard to do. 2 minutes left, according to the source we've got in the timekeeper's box. Big fly from Jake Deans, the skipper. He's got to move it on, and he does. Gives it to Daniel Crom. Crom plays on. Lang now. Handball. McGowan. The runners keep going. Got to kick it forward. Snap around the body. Can they take the mark? And there you go, Brash. Poor decisions. They've panicked. And Riley Nicholas, he'll go short to his skipper in Glossop. The Tigers, they're looking set to take home the 4 points here.
That was a super mark by Nicholas.
Well, wasn't it? But the Devils, they just can't seem to gel yet. We did speak about that pre-game. Freeman's got the box seat, but it goes over the top. Big fly from Lang. Freeman will get the crumbs. Good Shepherd. Then he might have been taken high there, umpire. And it's going to be a throw in. Centre wing, Tigers, 9:5:59. Devils, 6:11:47. Under 2 minutes to go here at Walker Park. 1 minute to go now. Unofficial clock. We've picked a good one, Brash, to start the year.
Yeah, excellent game.
Thrown in. Gordon, Deans, Tigers faithful. They love a win. Watch them get up and about for this. Ryan out of the pack. High ball. Del Papa's got to go back with courage and takes a good strong mark. Plays on immediately. He has to. Brooke Caney's in space. Got to go, son. Drop the mark. Under pressure now from Marrow. And his teammate there in McArdle. Handball over the top, found a target. Crom, Wallace, under pressure. Tackled by West. Got it around the body. Big fly from Brooks. Got the fist in. The golden fist. Crumming, O'Keefe. Got his handball away. Wong's there. Might have been taken high. Umpire says play on. Uren stepped in and out of traffic. Socket off the ground madly. It might work out. Winston slides in. Hits his knees. Well done by Lucas. And the wrap-up tackle there from McComb was strong. But I think the Tigers have done enough.
They have.
12 points the difference. Final minute. Wind, rain, free kick Devils. Deans. They need a goal with this play. You'd think to be any chance. He wheels onto the left slipper. That's a driving ball. Beams front spot. Couldn't bring it down. Glossop got the crumb. He's going to hold it in. And we're going to have another ball up. He had to stick that, didn't he, Besto?
He did, yep. Just happy just to, as you say, just take the ball and kill the play. Waste another few seconds.
Exactly. So thrown up again. The ruckman, everyone's been mammoth today, haven't they? First game back. Handball. Uren's there. Got the handball away again to Ryan. Looping over the top by Glossop. Horsey plays on. Short little kick. Will find a target in Jesse Smythe. And I think they've done enough, the Tigers. The Mitchum coaching staff want them to come short. I'd just be pumping it down the line. It's dark and gloomy. Well, Smythe's just done a pirouette on the spot and then just whacked it on the boot. High up and under. Gordon got rid of his opponent. It's Walker, sorry. Handball to Caney. Handball to Wong. Wong. Freeman on his preferred left. He's got a booming kick, but there's the siren. Tigers start their 2021 Division 1 campaign with a win. And there'll be a happy bunch of Tigers down here at Walker Park. Brash and Besso after a good game of footy.
Yeah, it was a really good game, wasn't it? Started off a bit shonky. Didn't see too much in the first quarter. It was a typical sort of, first game of the season, but they got things going in the second quarter, and from there it just ebbed and flowed. But into that second half, and Mitchum just took control. They had just the better of the play. Wantirna South, they got the ball inside 50, but they seemed to lack the opportunities to take marks and to kick goals, and that really in the end was probably the thing that hurt them.
Yeah, I think the tackling pressure of Mitchum and the stability of a more settled lineup, I think, and with experience, probably won the day here. But I just think for Wantirna South, it was a game of lost opportunities, because I felt for about the opening 20 minutes of the first quarter, they had the game on their terms, and as soon as they went away from that, it played right into Mitchum's hands, and then once Mitchum got the ascendancy, it was all over.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're both bang on. It's a great game of footy, but yeah, Wantirna South in that first quarter, I was starting to think, oh no, we might have a bit of a blowout. The Tigers looked nowhere near it. The Devils were moving the ball well, and if it wasn't for inaccurate kicking, they could have been 6 goals up
Absolutely,
at quarter
yeah.
time. And you look at that scoreboard, 17 shots to 14. So they could go back this week, and I'm sure Cockers, he won't be backward in coming forwards. Will go bad kicking's bad football, but also, like you said, they didn't want it at any point in that second half. The Tigers just shut them down, and we're going to be interrupted here by an interview with the victorious coach, Neil Winston.
Yeah, just with Mitchum coach Neil Winston. Really strong second half. What was the message coming in at half time to turning things around?
Well, I just thought early that we're a little bit unaccountable, and Monty South were much harder around the footy, so it was always going to be a scrappy day. I mean, the rain's just arrived now. It didn't rain too much, but given the conditions with the wind, it was a bit of a scrap, and we just needed to address our hardness around the footy, and we did that, and we were much better in the second half for it.
And step up in division now this year. Did you see much difference in sort of the pressure in the play, flow of the play, and especially with the year off as well with COVID? Yeah. Was it a big difference, a step up?
Yeah, it certainly was, mate. It's obviously jumping up division. It's going to be a much harder brand of footy, and and that's why we're on the back foot a little bit early. It took us a bit by surprise, and certainly having 15, 16 months off, whatever it's been, it didn't help. But the boys responded, and we're obviously happy to start the year off with a win.
Really good game from that. Enjoy the win.
Cool.
Neil Winston there, victorious Mitchum coach, and it's been a long time between drinks, but they'll be very happy with that. Steve White and Ryan Long will head in now and try and get the song. And what a day for the Tigers, back up in Division 1, as Ryan points out, and they've won all 3 grades, Brash.
Yeah, it's always a great start to any football season, especially seniors getting you off to a good start. It sets the tone for the season right throughout the club. A winning start is a good start.
Let's not forget they had a bit of adversity too, because they had some injuries towards the back end of the game. I think, who was it that went off, Brash? There was Rudd went off, that's right, and he was playing really well. And then they had a couple of other guys who looked a bit proppy too towards the back end. So they played through a bit of pain. Typical first game of the season. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of sore guys out there, but a gutsy win and a very good win for Mitchum.
Absolutely. Now, we'll let those guys go in and try and get the song, but we've got the illustrious honour of picking a few awards here. I think the song might be coming up. We'll go down to Ryan and Steve and catch the song.
Here we go!
It's something we haven't been able to hear in the past, Matty.
The song
from their club rooms.
No, exactly right. No. The new rooms. What an opening weekend for the Tigers. As I was saying, great work from Ryan and Steve down there. They might try and grab one more of our players, their victorious players. We've got a few awards to give away, gents.
Yeah.
So let's start with the Tobin Brothers Funerals goal of the day. The winner will get a $50 Coles Myer gift voucher.
Well, I'll start. I went for Matt Gordon, that goal that he kicked in the second quarter. I thought that was as good as any we saw today, unless you guys can put forth something else.
I'm up there. A couple others were James Crikis at the end. There was a nice goal.
Yep.
And I think Neil Winston's snap was good, but I'm happy with Matt Gordon.
Yeah, I am, because Gordon kicked that goal at a time when Wantirna South.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Sportsco Player of the Day, personally for mine. There was moments throughout the day. Obviously, we said Lincoln Wong had a few contenders. Matt Gordon's was probably up there as well, as we mentioned, and your Winston snap. There's 2 options for mine. There's Alex Barton-Smith's tackle right in front of the goals that put them 2 goals in front late in the last quarter, or the Lachlan Milne smother that went away. You reckon the smother?
I actually went for Alex Barton-Smith, so it's 1-1, I think, and it's your casting vote, Matty.
I actually said Barton-Smith before, but now that Brash has pointed, I think that Lachlan Milne smother.
Yeah, fair enough. Very cool.
Because we correctly, all of us, and even Steve down the boundary line, said the Devils have just got it back to 2 goals.
Yes.
Bursting through the centre, that kick goes over the top. Who knows what happens?
Yeah. All right, you've convinced me.
I've changed my mind. He followed it up with the free kick, and they got the goal in the end. So there we go. It's a Mitchum. It's Player of the Day, Neverland Store, Nina and Pasadena Player of the Day, $100 gift voucher. it's a hard one to give because for me all day it seemed like Lincoln Wong was a shoo-in.
Yeah, exactly.
He was dominant early on. He owned the corridor. He was brilliant in the clinches. Obviously, his side lost. David Lang was good for the Devils, as was Brooke Caney.
Caney was good.
Yeah.
For the Tigers, Lucas Marrow, 3 goals, a bit unheralded. Jesse Smythe, I thought, was good up forward. Down back, they had a lot of.
I thought Brooke was very good after Red.
Brooks, Dylan Brooks.
Brooks, he had a fair game. Yep.
Neil Winston, of course, in the clinches. Jesse Cherry, lots of players everywhere that you could put up. I think it's who are we thinking, gents?
Well, put it this way, I reckon Barton Smith, but you see he didn't get the one of that one. I reckon he might get the other one.
Yeah,
what do you reckon?
Yeah, maybe. I just so desperately want to give it to Lincoln Wong, but I know we don't give it to.
Well, we can.
I mean, I know it's not right. We don't usually give it to players in losing sides, but I thought he was magnificent today.
We need to move away from that sort of thinking.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, well then I'd back Lincoln Wong.
Yeah, I'm happy to go with Lincoln Wong. So I'm going to have to make a trip to both rooms. There, I don't know if the Devils would be happy to see me. I might go there first, get it out of the way.
Yep.
From here, guys.
Boundary.
Boundary. Oh, we've got a guest. Who have we got, gents?
I've got here Lachlan Ryan for the Mitchum Footy Club. Lockie, pretty good game today. What was it like being out there for first time in over 12 months?
Yeah, well, it's been more than 12 months for me, a couple of years, so it's great to be back. It was a hard-fought win, real tough four-quarter performance. The boys were desperate all day and just wanted to get the W coming up in the division and just setting the year off in good stead, so it was great.
And just, I thought really the pressure in the second half was a lot better after Wantirna South came out pretty strong in the first quarter. Specifically when the Smothers down Wantirna South's end that stopped a chance for a goal for them. Was that a focus coming in the third quarter to ramp up the pressure and sort of start winning the ball?
Definitely after the first quarter, like Neil spoke about. We got off to a shaky start, pretty slow, so they were more desperate than us in that first quarter, so we just really ramped it up, especially with the conditions, just to scrap, fought hard over the ball, and then just keep pushing it forward, and we just continued to do that for 3 quarters.
And, yep.
Sorry, Lockie, it's the guys up in the box here. It was a pretty tough game all day, particularly in the middle. And one of the guys that stood out for us, for Wantirna South, was Lincoln Wong. He had a fantastic game today. Did you think at any stage about maybe putting a bit of extra work into him? Because he was quite dominant.
We thought about all 3 all day, so felt like if we went to one, someone else would pop up. But yeah, they're very good in the middle, so it was just us trying to be contested footy and tick that box, and then just keep, like I've said probably about 3 times already, just to keep scrapping and tackling and keep putting pressure on them and force some turnovers and keep pushing that ball deep. So I felt like we did that throughout the game.
Lockie, it's Brash here. Welcome back to the comp, mate.
Thanks, Brash. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, you too. I've got to say, one of the hallmarks of the Mitchum Footy Club over the last 3 to 5 years is the tackling pressure on the ball carrier. Wantirna South, as you've alluded to, dominated probably the opening 15-20 minutes, but when you started to really ramp up the tackle pressure, you started to get the game on your terms.
Yeah, it's definitely one of our focals, for the year, and we do love that. So after that first quarter, we were really disappointed. So we didn't even really have to address it. We all knew. Everyone kind of got together, and all 4 of us said the exact same thing. So it is something we pride ourselves on, and it was great to do it. It was great to do it, and I think that contributed big time to the win.
With the boys having, like everyone, such a long layoff, when pre-season started for the 2021 season, I guess some of the players were probably still a little bit apprehensive on whether the season was ever going to look like getting a start. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. It was a great vibe all the way through, from 2020 all the way, to the bounce today. So it's been great. The buzz is electric down here. With the new rooms, and it's a good place to be at the moment.
Lockie, we spoke before the game up here in the box about the fact that you'd come up from a lower division, so obviously when you come up a division there's always that the faster game pace, maybe the game's a bit harder. Did you notice a bit of a change in intensity in terms of the game itself?
A bit hard for me, seeing that I've had that year off when the boys won that premiership, so we've been up here before, we've learned a lot, the boys that have been, and we took a lot into today to rectify things from the past.
Matt Foddy here, mate. Lockie, well done on your performance today, getting back into the swing of things. Was that the way you guys actually planned to play the game? I know, obviously, a lot of talk has been about the standing the man on the mark rule and everyone wanted to play exciting footy, but it looked like, I think there was a lot of nervous energy and it was a bit more of the old style just for 4 quarters today.
Yeah, I definitely, it went out the window a little bit in terms of that sort of game style with the conditions. So I felt like we didn't get off the mark straight away, like adapting, but definitely came to, throughout the game.
Lockie, obviously recovery is going to be paramount over the next 2 or 3 days. We saw Rudd go off with what looked like a knee. Have you had a chance to have a quick chat with him, and does he look like he might come up for next week?
I wouldn't have a clue at the moment. He's walking around, but he's got a bit of a pep in his step probably because of the wind, but he might even be a bit sore tomorrow. But I think I'll be pretty sore to next Saturday, that's for sure.
Thanks for joining us, Lockie, and go enjoy some celebrations, mate. Well done.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks. So, Lockie Ryan there, back at the club, Besto after 2 years off, but one actual season off footy, and obviously he'd be jealous of missing out on a premiership, but he's put his right foot forward today in an impressive performance in a good 2-goal win for the Tigers.
Oh, absolutely. I think Mitchum would be absolutely ecstatic. I mean, they wouldn't have given themselves no chance coming into this game, but I mean, Wantirna South, you'd have to have, as we talked about, would have been the favourites, but there was just something about them all day. I mean, the first quarter wasn't that flash, but they just seemed to have that particularly going forward, Wantirna South, they got plenty of inside 50s, but they just seemed to lack, being able to take a mark at crucial times, being able to kick that crucial goal. A couple of times they looked out of it and they got back, but Mitchum there was always just something in their game all day that I thought they were just going to get over the line.
I think one of the more important things that Wantirna South are going to have to learn throughout the season is when they don't get the game on their terms, their defensive pressure has to go up a little bit more, and they've got to be a bit more accountable, because when they do get the ball and they're able to move it, they look as sleek as any side in the competition. But you're only going to get an X amount, as you well know, you only get X amount of time to really have your moment in the sun, don't you, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you bang on, but I think in terms of what Mitchum were thinking, they would have come in today. I think they actually would have penciled this game as one that's a maybe. And I was surprised that what I was surprised, and power to them. They've had a 3 from 3 day, and they've managed to, not punish, but they've managed to set a standard and say, if you don't turn up to training enough, you're going to play 2. So, if we're saying that's not their best 22 on paper, they've put out that performance. I agree on the Devils. The air after about the quarter time was a bit of it'll happen. You've got
to make things happen.
You do have to make things happen, especially in the conditions, as Lachlan pointed out, but also on a small ground in front of a vocal crowd and in a proper game.
But I just didn't feel like I was waiting in that towards the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter for something to happen, and there was unfortunately there just weren't enough soldiers for them today. I mean, Wong tried hard, Caney tried hard, but they didn't go as a unit.
Yeah,
and you just didn't feel. I mean, it was like Wong taking on the world effectively, because they just didn't have enough soldiers going with him.
Yeah, agree. And but also, as we mentioned in the pre-game, they're going to take some time to gel. Wantirna South with so many new wins.
Yeah.
But one thing, Mitchum now, in terms of them staying up, Brash, that's an important win, because it's probably 4 points they didn't pencil in. They've probably only got, there've been no games they've penciled in being the side that's come up. So that's a bonus 4 points already they've got in terms of their campaign to stay up. As much as they say they'd love to play finals, I think priority number one will be staying in the division.
That has to be that's got to be your priority when you do come up, because anything above knowing that you're staying up is a bonus.
Absolutely.
Well, it gets the monkey off the back early too, because if they got sort of 3 or 4 weeks in and they still hadn't had that first one, it's like, Mitchum's still striving for that first one, and it becomes a bit of a pressure, doesn't it? So to get it early, I mean, that's just
it's a bit like an albatross around your neck.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
I just, I think it's really important too that, look, I think at the end of the day, it's 5 o'clock or near on 5 o'clock, and we've had our first round, and I would dare say there's a collective sigh of relief that we've got through our first round, and that everyone, and hopefully for a lot of clubs, they've come through pretty unscathed, so they can front up again and put on another show for us next weekend.
Just the other pleasing thing, sorry Matty, the other pleasing thing I thought about Mitchum too is because we stood here and we couldn't really come up with the best player from Mitchum, because it was a really collective effort, and the guys were, so that's also a good thing for them, because they played more of a team unit rather than having 1 or 2 standout players, which is always good, but playing as a team is obviously preferable.
Absolutely. Before I leave you guys, of course, I'm going to have to run down and do my duties at the off-field ministerial duties that aren't fancy. Got to go celebrate some players of the day and some goals of the day and so on.
Yep.
Fantastic work. As you said, Brash, it's been great to be back on the air.
It has been.
Mitchum putting a good foot forward. The Devils, they'll definitely bounce back. We've got Steve White and Ryan Long hanging alongside, so they've obviously been down in the conditions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna duck out, and Steve's gonna take my headset. Ryan's gonna jump on, and we're gonna talk. These guys can give their view on the afternoon.
Yeah, I think too. The other thing too, Brett. While Steve and Ryan join us, we were sitting up here like Wantirna South. We were waiting for them for it to happen.
Yeah, it was like that, wasn't it?
It was. We were sitting here waiting. Oh, they're going to come soon. They're going to start getting on a bit of a roll, but it never happened. Steve, what were you and Ryan's thoughts on the boundary line there? Did it look like that Wantirna South ever looked like they were going to get in the contest?
Yeah, concur. I mean, we were sort of having a conversation about ourselves. It was really that they had those two last-ditch efforts, as we pointed out during the broadcast. But I think Neil Winterden's address at three-quarter time when I was in the huddle basically saying, Devils don't want it when it's on the ground. They didn't want it on the one-on-one contest. A couple of exceptions, Caney and Wong, I thought basically were in that second half, really all of the Devils' engine room, so to speak, and I think that was what decided. And they just sort of that thing, be it 18 months of senior footy, and I put the usual caveat on this that you don't really know until about week 6 before we get a feel for sides, and then you could probably extend it out to week 8 for the unprecedented COVID, but blah blah blah. In terms of this game, I think it was really, I think at half time, Mitchum, that's when the pendulum swung back the other way, and then the Devils really just didn't want the footy in that last quarter.
Ryan, what were your thoughts on the game, my friend?
Yeah, well, I thought that first quarter was probably it's almost the most disappointing thing for the Devils because they had so much of that ball. They locked it in their forward half. They can repeat forward 50 entries, but they weren't really doing anything to the scoreboard. And I noticed once Mitchum sort of took the lead, when I spoke to Steve, listening to him in the huddle at three-quarter time, one of the things he was mentioning was the hands on hips from his own players, the heads down, just noticing the sort of the attitude change in that third quarter where it almost looked like coming into that last quarter they had pretty much almost given up from an attitude point of view. But even when they did sort of have a couple of forward entries in that last quarter, it's still just, for the majority of that last second half, they did seem a bit tired, a bit flat. Maybe that's just because it is round one and there's been such a layoff from the game. But overall, it's just, it's probably a disappointing start for them. But you've got to give Mitchum credit too. They've been pretty good.
I'll throw this question open to all of us here. After 18 months off with no local football, were you happy or were you surprised that the skill level was a little down? But not only that, but it still was a very competitive contest, right through the 4 quarters. That would have been a real pleasing thing for you all to view, would you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tip in first. I wasn't sort of surprised that the skills would be rusty. A few practice matches. Speaking to some of the coaches prior to the season around the different divisions, they were all of the same opinion. Look, it's on 18 months without a proper hit out despite the practice matches. You don't know where you're going to be at. But look, having a look at the scores coming through across the ground seems to be a similar theme across the league, particularly South Belgrave and a couple of others. Plus, throw in the elements today. That wind was very strong, and I'm sure it would have been stronger out, Sylvan, South Belgrave area.
Yeah.
But no, look, I thought still, despite the layoff, some good footy.
What do you reckon, Brett?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we sat here during the first quarter and I sort of thought to myself, this is going to be a bit of an ordinary game because it wasn't great. But after quarter time, the skills improved and everything just sort of clicked. Yeah, there was a few skill errors, but I mean, that's going to happen in any game. Whether you can get a game played in 4 months where that's going to happen. Some conditions as well. But I think all in all, it was there were some really good patches and some really nice, a few things that didn't quite work for either side, which they'll go back to work on. But there was some really good footy played out there today.
Ryan, what were your first impressions of watching Division 1 football?
Yeah, it's a bit of a step up. I thought the skill level, I didn't think it was that poor, but it is expected with such a long time off from the game. And I think what we really wanted was a competitive match and a close match, and that's what we did get in the end. And it's probably unexpected. So overall, I think it was a pretty enjoyable game to watch.
One of the things, Steve, that when we were doing our pre-match, we thought one of the big factors that Mitchum had on Wantirna South was the fact that Mitchum had an experienced settle side, albeit going up a division, where Wantirna South basically is nearly half to three quarters of a rebuilt, rebuilt side. I found at times that really helped, came to play in a lot of, especially in the second half for Mitchum.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, I think Steve Cochran was talking pre-season about had a turnover of about 12, 14 new players. Still had that core together, but he wanted to build a cohesive footy side, and that takes time. I mean, they've only had 3 practice matches in the first round, so I'd say before round 4 or 5, I would expect Wantirna South to be really firing and getting to know how each other plays, and as they go further into the season.
Any for you, Brett? Looking at both sides. Casting your eye on who are some of the players from both sides that impressed you this afternoon?
I just love Lincoln Wong's game. I can't stop talking about him. He was brilliant. He was buzzing around like a little mosquito in the middle of the ground. I thought Caney was fantastic. Looking down the list, Crikis was good for a time. He was quite sort of good up until maybe about half time or three-quarter time, but then he went out of the game. Deans in the ruck was fantastic. These are for Wantirna South. And then for Mitchum, as I say, it was really just a really good team effort. I thought Carroll was really solid down back. Cherry played okay. Glossop, Brooks. I mean, they were more of a collective. There was no real stand. I don't think there was a standout in the Mitchum side. I think they just played really well as a unit.
Ryan, I think the other thing today that I noticed as well, it was a day where the centre half forwards from both sides really hardly had any impact on the contest. Do you think it was the fact that the prevailing conditions really put them out of the contest?
I think that's definitely got a part of it, because especially in that second quarter, we really noticed just the wind. It was really blowing to the far side of the oval, and then suddenly it started to change going the other way, and you weren't really getting too many marks inside 50. So a lot of the goals there were scraps from a contest, from ground ball. So it wasn't a forwards day, and I think that probably, I would say, more to the conditions, reasoning why.
Yeah, I thought that once the wind actually sprung up, I think it actually took some of the taller players out of the contest, and you just weren't able to, they weren't able to utilise their key forwards in a way that they would have liked. I also think too that when it obviously is going to take 4 to 5 weeks before we get a fair idea of who's going to belong in the pecking order, so to speak. Where do you think that Wantirna South and Mitchum could feature in finals? I know it's a very early crow on game one, but did you enjoy what you saw from both sides, and did that give you enough confidence to think that if they could hold their form, they could play a part in a final series?
Not sure about finals. There were parts of the Wantirna South game I really liked. Mitchum in that first quarter, even the first half, they were just bombing the ball in long. They looked a little bit one-dimensional, but they changed their game after that. Wantirna South, probably the other thing that happened too, and was largely condition based, but there was so much of the play on the far side of the field, and they kept just attacking, going down that flank, and nothing was happening. And then a couple of times they switched the ball back to this side, and it looked a bit likely. So that's just a game thing. You have to be able to change the tactics and play as the game comes up. But I don't know about finals. It's probably a bit too early to tell. I think we'll probably know and maybe give us another 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, Whitey, some of the scores from other venues are starting to flow through. Have we got any sort of scores?
Yeah, last updated scores. Heathmont and the Basin is a bit behind, but we've got one from South Belgrave now pulled well away, 13-17, 95 to 5-6, 36. Final score from Ringwood and Templeton. Ringwood 12-12, 84. Too good for Templeton. Solid win to Boronia also, 11-13, 79, defeating Knox 4-7, 31.
Standout performance from Juice Bolton, no doubt.
And
your love child.
And final score, the Basin, I would say pulling off an upset there, 9-6-60, defeating Heathmont 5-8,
yeah,
38.
big time. Yeah, that's a very good one.
So yeah,
considering the Basin and Heathmont always have titanic struggles, there isn't never too much in between those two. Look, it's I just think that it's great to see EFNL football live and well again. It's been great as the team to get the team back together again. I know from personal experience it was a shame we didn't get started last year, and I've got to say it's been great fun being back with the team again today and having a lot of fun doing what we do best.
Absolutely, Brash. It's been you don't realise how much you miss it until it's not there. But yeah, we're back now, and hopefully, if things go well and there's no more, no more disastrous happenings in the world, we'll get through the season.
Well, I mean, look, it's onwards and upwards in the EFNL. We've got through our first round, and I believe we're making the big trek down to Berwick next week. The newcomers.
These I'll be almost able to walk to the game next
sorry,
week.
I just have to jump in. Special mention to Ryan on debut on boundary.
Yes, absolutely.
Well done, Ryan.
Great job,
guys.
We're going to have a cut lunch.
Had it all. We had the weather as well. So welcome. wait for round 8 out at Boronia in 8 degrees.
Oh yeah, Tormore.
Well, yes, we're travelling down the Princes Highway, and we're going to get our first look at the newcomers in Premier Division next week. It's going to be Berwick versus Noble Park, and I, for one, am really looking forward to the first contest, the opening round of Premier Division in the EFNL 2021 season.
And the most significant thing next week, Ziggy's back.
Yeah, he's back. Ziggy's back. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people down there. It's going to be a massive day down there. I mean, Berwick have been one of those big sides, right, in that competition. And we better wrap it up. And, Matt, you want to take us out, my friend?
There we go. It's been a pleasure to make my debut as the leader of the group. It's been great. We know we've had our challenges, as everyone would expect. Not only getting here, but on game day, and well done to Damo Watson, who's currently calling the prelim final of the AFLW, and he still made the effort to come in and do the hour pre-game.
Yeah,
such is his quality, and he without a beat, hasn't missed a beat, despite working full time as a lawyer and casual on SEN. So he's a fantastic guy. And BWS, the soul, not here, of course, had to be called away for a family issue. So we wish him all the best.
We'll hear from him tomorrow.
Oh, we'll hear from him tomorrow. EFNL Sunday, I'm sure you've mentioned it, 10 a.m. In all your favourite places, the SEN app. But of course, the main thing is Mitchum had a great win. We've added a new member to the group. The group got back together. A great game of footy, and hopefully there's still a couple of night games to go. So if you still want to get your EFNL fix, head out to Fair Park, head out to East Burwood, and let's watch the scores roll in and enjoy a relaxing Saturday night, hopefully, guys. So it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you all next week.
That you will.
We've still got to tear down everything out there.
No, I think Dyson and Freeze have come to the rescue.
The only thing we didn't do was our 3-2-1.
No, it's a bit shit really, because he says it's time to wrap up. Got clear, Pete, but you need like a 30-second call or because I was going off that clock. I thought maybe it was when it got to 5 o'clock. Timing was out because they just cut over the top of it. So.